Happy International Women's. To take us further in this conference, I would like to invite certified learning and development now with 14 years experience across diverse industries. Seeing women become all they're meant to be. Hence the back of the Now You See Me conference. Adia is a certified international finance corporation trainer. Adiola will be taking further in this conference tagged from vision to action, leading with impact in challenging times. Adiola Babatunde, you're welcome.
So much, Omar. Good morning, everyone, and welcome. Hi, Omar. Thank you for leading us, starting this event, and welcome to everyone to the Now You See Me Conference 2025. It is such a pleasure to have all of you. It's a pleasure to have you join us on this edition of the Now You See Me Conference. So, yes. Thank you, Omar. Thank you. I think there's a bit of a glitch there. All right. So on this edition of the Now You See Me conference, I want to say thank you to everyone who joined. It's going to be amazing. We have an amazing lineup of speakers who are going to blow your minds. These are industry leaders who have come to share from their depth of wisdom, and they're going to empower us today and beyond. So if you're not able to follow us for the entire day, I want to ask that you catch the replay. However, I want to encourage you to stay, as these women have cooked something powerful for you to feast on today. And just before we start, I'd like to share something about vision. I'd like to set the stage by sharing something about vision. Now, we had something happened in our organization yesterday that I'd like to use as an example. So we had this vision that we needed to do. We had a project that we needed to launch. And this project we needed to launch was dragging on. It was dragging on because we had good intentions. The good intention that we had was that we didn't want to start this project without having enough planning. And so what we did was we kept the project and we were thinking about how best to execute. We're thinking about how do we talk to people who know more than us in this area? How do we get experts and professionals who are going to give us their wisdom, who are going to share with us, who are going to give us more understanding so that when we are rolling out the project, we're doing it excellently well. However, the project kept dragging on. We didn't do anything about it until we noticed that we had to do something radical. We had to do something radical to birth the vision. Now, what was the radical thing that we did? We started with what we had and the knowledge that we had at that point. We started with what we had and the knowledge that we had at that point. So if you're listening to me, the message I want to leave with you today is the message of radical and rapid execution. Is the message of radical and rapid execution. So a lot of times when you have a vision, you have something that you want to do, something that you want to birth, you have an idea of this thing. Sometimes we get lost and we get stuck in what I call analysis paralysis. We get stuck, and our speakers are going to go in depth on this matter. They're going to talk a lot more about how you can take your vision to action And we get stuck in this place where we are not able to move beyond a certain place. We're not able to execute the vision because we are looking for more data, more knowledge, more information. Do you see? We're looking for perfection. And so, perfection, searching for perfection, looking for perfection in itself can be self sabotage. So the what you need to do to get yourself from vision, from saying, okay, you know what, I have this vision in my head, I have this thing I want to do, is yes, you do have to plan. Yes, you do have to, put your thoughts together. However, I would suggest that you have a deadline. And we have an amazing speaker coming to talk to us about strategic planning and how to achieve your goals with milestones and all of that. Amazing speaker, absolute heavyweight in that field, right? But what I want you to take away from this conversation I'm having with you now is you need to have a deadline. And that deadline for you is simply saying by so date. So, for example, today is the 8th of March. And it's to say, by the 13th of March, I will make sure that I have launched this project, that I have done this thing. If not, you may get lost and you may get stuck in what we call analysis paralysis, which is where you get paralyzed because you are over-analyzing and you are actually doing it from a good place. This is where the problem is. You are actually doing it from a good place with a good heart. You actually want things to flow smoothly. You want things to go very well. However, you are then stuck in this place where you just can't move. And it starts to eat you up on the inside because vision has timing. Because vision has timing. Every vision comes with its own energy, with its own passion, right? And so if you don't quickly birth that thing, you will start to realize that you start to feel less energized, less interested about that thing. So, for example, let's take a book. You wanted to write a book if you're listening to me. So, for those of you who are watching us on YouTube, thank you for joining us on YouTube. For those watching on Instagram, for those watching on YouTube, on LinkedIn, I want to say welcome, and thank you. Feel free to type in your questions in chat. Feel free to type your comments in chat as we go, and we will take them on. Okay, so I was using this example to say, you may be listening to me now and you have attempted and tried to write a book in the past or do some major project. However, you came to a place where you overanalyzed, right? You thought to yourself, what would the title of the book be? How many pages will it be? What would chapter 1 look like? When would I start? I don't know what to do. There's just so much going on that you cannot immediately figure out. And because you're thinking about that, you thought about that book in 2021, we're now in 2025, and the book is still not written. So the message I want to leave you with today is the message of rapid execution, rapid and radical execution. What that looks like in practice is you say to yourself, I want to write this book. By the 13th of March, 2025, I will make sure that this book is out there, ready for sale. It's going to be on Amazon, it's going to be on cover books, it's going to be on Scribd. You set that goal. Now, I'm trying not to do a deep dive into goal setting and planning and strategic planning, because like I said, we have an amazing speaker who's going to do thorough justice to it. However, you must remember that anything worth doing is worth doing at its time, at its own time. I tell my children all the time, you can be doing something great at the wrong time. You can be doing something fantastic at the wrong time. Imagine a man that wants to take care of his parents. He wants to buy them houses, buy them cars, send them abroad. It may just make them comfortable. However, he's doing this when the parents have died? Like, of what benefit is the car that he's buying, the house that he's buying, when the parents are no longer there to enjoy it? He's doing something good by buying the cars. However, it's not at the right time. So if you have a vision, and I know that you have a vision in your heart, and you're listening to me, you have a vision, there's something in your heart that you want to pass across, there's something in your mind that you want to birth, there's a vision of you you're looking at, your professional life, you're looking at yourself as a career success, you're looking at yourself as a business owner, you've dreamed of this big thing, and you're asking yourself, where do I go from here? My answer to you, or my encouragement to you, is write down a definite date that would push you to rapid and radical execution, so that you're not constantly sitting on this dream. And so I started by telling you something that happened in our organization where we sat on this thing for so long, and there were two of such programs. One of the projects, we sat on it for so long and we still haven't executed it. However, the second project, we pushed it out because of what I'm telling you, because of rapid and radical execution. And let me quickly say this. Sometimes when you take rapid and radical steps, it may not make sense. I need that to sink in. It may not make sense to everybody. And that's okay, because resistance is very, very powerful and may stop you from doing what is important, from doing what you need to do. So the project that we pushed out because we used radical and rapid execution. The one we did not push out, we're still thinking about it. We're still analyzing. And guess what? It hasn't been birthed yet. So I'll leave you with this. Remember that every project, everything that you do is only worth it when you do it in its time. And for your vision to go to action, you need rapid and radical execution. Thank you so much for listening to me this morning. Thank you, thank you, thank you. I will now hand you back over to Oma. She's going to join us shortly. I'll hand you over to Oma. But in the meantime, we have our very amazing first speaker. Amazing first speaker. She's going to be sharing with us on the clarity of vision. And I'm going to read her bio in a moment. Before I introduce her, I'm going to read her bio in a moment. And she's going to come up and share with us. Are you ready? If you're ready to receive our amazing speaker for this day, I want you to type in comments where I am ready, I am ready, I am ready. All right, so Oma, while I wait for Oma, I will read the recitation for our first speaker. All right, I'll read the recitation for our first speaker. Okay, so Marian Ogaziechi is a visionary marketing leader and managing director of Dentsu Agile Nigeria, with nearly 2 decades of expertise in blending creativity and data-driven strategies. A graduate in theater and communication arts from the University of Jos, she leverages storytelling to craft impactful campaigns across sectors like FMCG, fintech, and energy. Her leadership focuses on media efficiency, branded content, and innovative tech-driven solutions, managing annual budgets of up to 18 to 20 billion naira while boosting clients' ROI and securing strategic partnerships. Under her direction, Dentsu Agile Nigeria has achieved 30 to 50% year-on-year revenue growth, driven by pioneering media products and transactional commercial strategies. Marian's work spans content production, influencer marketing, and brand management, and she balances risk-taking whilst with sustainable growth. Her accolades include the 2022/23 Most Outstanding Media Investment Personality Award by WIMCA, reflecting her industry influence. I told you the big wigs are here. And beyond corporate success, Marian founded the We Smile Empowerment Foundation and Doyen Circle, mentoring young women through theater and leadership programs. She's a passionate advocate for women's empowerment, and she also speaks at conferences and shares insights via media platform. Ladies and gentlemen, without further ado, would you allow me welcome Miss Miriam Ogaziechi, our very first panel speaker. Let's put our hands together for her as she takes over the stage. Thank you, Miriam. It is such an amazing pleasure to have you. We're going to.
Thank you. Thank you. Good morning.
Would you like to
Good morning, Adiola.
Good morning. Would you like to share your slides, or would you like us to share what shared for you here? What would be more?
I'll share.
Please go ahead.
Okay. Good morning, Adiola. Good morning, Moyo. Good morning. I don't know. Good morning, virtual viewers. I would like you to let me know when you can see my screen.
Yes, okay, not yet. We can't see it yet.
1 second, please. Okay, let me know when you can see.
Okay.
Can you see?
Yes, we can. Absolutely. Yes, now we can.
Okay. Can you see?
Yes, we can.
Okay, so if you can see my screen on YouTube or wherever you're logged in from, please can you just send the comments? So
okay, we're getting their comments. We're getting their comments from YouTube, so you can go ahead.
okay.
Yes, thank you.
Okay, thank you. Thank you, Adiola, for laying the foundation. For laying the foundation of our conversation today. And this is to also say Happy International Women's Day to everyone who is logged on here, who is viewing. Thank you for joining. And thank you for accepting to spare your time this morning to listen to us. So the power of clarity. Clarity sometimes can seem very vague or very quite ambiguous. But it's very important that everything we do from a vision perspective has to be clear. So, and in doing that, we have to be clear in defining and communicating a vision that will then inspire action. So she spoke a bit around me, so I'm going to skip this. I'm going to skip this slide, but I'm going to mention something that I want everyone to hold on to as we take on this conversation and as I summarize the presentation. So under philanthropy, I founded We Smile, and I have a commitment to mentorship where I created Doyen Circle in 2018 as an official trademarked company with the CAC. So it's basically a mentorship platform guiding young women in leadership. And I want you to hold on to that thought while we go through our presentation. Now, today I'm going to be discussing the importance, I'm going to be introducing the importance of vision in leadership, and very importantly, why vision matters, why we should be crafting a clear vision in terms of painting our future or the future that we desire personally and in leadership. Now, communicating that vision, how we're bringing the picture to life, and how our communication inspires action, and overall, how we should align our vision with the strategy, and understanding that life is not a bed of roses. So we are constantly going to experience challenges, but we must be prepared to overcome those challenges and breaking those barriers to clarity. And finally, we are going to be looking at the call to action after I share a summarized video with everyone. So before I share a quote by the former First Lady of America, Mrs. Obama, I want us to watch this video with deep attention. Can we all see?
Yes, we can. We can't hear it though, but we can see it.
Oh, you can't hear?
Yes.
Okay. I'm so sorry. But can we read?
Yes, but is the audio on?
I would have to
Yes, it's
try
yes,
and
yes,
fix
yes.
that.
It's we can hear it now. Maybe just increase the volume. We can hear it slightly. Okay.
Okay, so I can share the presentation later. We can get a link to the
Yes, yes,
presentation.
please. Thank you.
So Michelle Obama made a quote that I feel is suitable for our conversation for today. So it's not about being perfect. It's not about where we get ourselves. It's not about where we get ourselves in the end, because there's power in allowing yourself to be known, to be heard, in owning your unique story, and in using your authentic voice. Now, every quote that I will share today, there's something around making statements, and there's something around communicating that statement to inspire action. So at the end of our presentation, we will come back to the quote by Michelle Obama. Now, a lot of people ask, why must I have a vision? Does having a vision matter at all? Yes, it does matter. Because the vision is the fuel behind the purpose that you have in life. And having that vision is one thing, but clarity in that vision is the foundation of effective leadership. And this is leadership as an employee, leadership as an employer, that is being an entrepreneur and an entrepreneur, leadership in our home fronts, leadership in our social circle, and leadership amongst our peers or wherever we find ourselves. And in providing a clear vision, we need to have direction, we need to have purpose, and we need to have, motivation, right? And these things are very important for us as women. Because I tell people, why is there a clamor for equality in the workplace, equality everywhere for women? Why are we celebrating International Women's Day? Our mothers have always been strong women. We remember, I think in 1929 or so, we had about women's riots, and that riot was on because there was an increase in taxation. Why will women protest if there is an increase in taxation? They protested because they were majorly affected by it. What does that say to us? Because they were part of building the economy of the country. They were traders. And trading was the major source of, thriving in the economy at that time. So it means that our women have always been. However, because it's a man's world, basically. And because it's a man's world, you begin to see that women have to prove themselves constantly to be accepted. So if a man has to put in 100% effort in getting a job done and getting something done or in getting acknowledged, women are not, because women are naturally, first of all, undermined. And apart from being undermined, you then have to, because you know that you're undermined, undervalued, or they're like, can she do it? You put in 500% of what the man does because you need to be accepted. So what that means for us is that as women, we have to constantly be clear in our vision. We have to constantly have a direction, a purpose, and we constantly must motivate people by our actions. Now, how do we craft a clear vision? Self-reflection is very important. Defining the end goal is also very important. And in defining our goal, it has to be direct. It has to have a direction, meaning that it has to be concise and it has to be memorable. We can't have it quite ambiguous, but as we go, we need to understand that the vision, crafting a vision and having clarity is a journey. You might have a vision, I want to achieve this. How do I bring it to life? It unfolds in different parts because the world itself is not stable. Things change. You might decide that my vision is to be the richest man in the world. And at some point, being rich means that you have to be in oil and gas. At some point, it might change to fashion. At some point, it might change to media. At some point, it might change to entertainment. But you have to understand that the vision is clearer. It has to be flexible, but we must be clear that our purpose in life is to achieve a vision, which means that we must have a direction, I say again, a purpose, and we must be able to motivate. So if you're not motivated and if you're not being motivated, then that is not a vision. If there's no direction, that is not a vision. And if you don't have a purpose, that is not a vision. So we must self-reflect as we are crafting our vision. It's a journey. What do I really want to achieve? What do I really want to achieve? And we then begin to define our goal. If this is what I want to achieve, this must be my goal. And if this is being my goal, before it's communicated to the world, it must be in a particular direction. It must be concise, it must be together, and it must be something that is acceptable and understood. Now, I would explain to you how we communicate the vision in the next slide. So a vision, no matter how powerful it is, if it's ineffective if it is not properly communicated. If it is not confined in your mind, then it's ineffective. Because it has to be confined. A lot of people, I want to do this, I want to do this, I want to do that. No, it has to be confined, it has to be clear. And the ability to constantly clear and communicate that vision is what then transforms it from being an idea into being a movement. So it is an idea until it is properly communicated. Now, and you have to be able to tell a story, because a compelling vision must be structured into narratives, and the narratives must resonate with your target audience, with your stakeholders, and the people that you want to accept that narrative about you, the people you want to understand that narrative about you and that vision. And in doing that, you have to be consistent. It's not easy. It's not easy. So you have to constantly repeat the vision. You have to constantly reflect on it. And you have to constantly bring it to life by actioning it. So in doing that, then it's now organic. It's not forced. People are more likely to support and accept what they help create because they have been part of your journey in crafting your storytelling. I will use an example on this. So I've always had, if you go back to a part of my introduction or my profile where I briefly spoke about doing circle, right? And when I registered it. So it was something I had always done. And I realized that you are doing this. You are not, it's not confined. It doesn't have a narrative yet, right? But you know that that is your end goal and that is your vision for women. How you then take on that vision is how you bring it to life, how you begin to tell stories around it is what matters. So I've done that since 2019, and I'm going to take you through a couple of things I've done to sustain that vision. So that is a personal vision, but a personal vision is a vision that defines me. So it defines me in and out. So I spend 50% of my time at the office, and I spend the other 50%, I think 70%, and I spend the other 30% with family, friends, and outside the office. And my vision has to follow me everywhere I go. And my vision still remains inspiring and mentoring women through storytelling. And storytelling is key because it helps you communicate your vision. Storytelling can mean a lot of things, and I have done that in different ways where I'm going to share my experiences as we go on. Now, in inspiring action, I try to look at 3 different women that we all can relate with on how they are able to move people to take action by what they do. So how do we drive inspiration? So first of all, we lead by example. I looked at everyone and I'm like, I think it's better I use Malala that everybody can, relate with. So Malala's vision was to ensure education for girls worldwide. She advocated it. She didn't just advocate it. She continued her education despite the threats to her life. So what does that say to you? Malala is an embodiment of her vision. We must embody our vision for us to be able to inspire action. Now, Oprah was the first Black woman who came on TV, and she opened the way for other Black women who then began to accept themselves that I could inspire, I could own, I could empower others. So you empower others by also inspiring action, right? So Oprah showed us that she was a strong leader. She didn't just dictate the vision to say, I can be on TV, Black women can be on TV. She took on. And by empowering others, she was able to uplift others and inspire action. Now, sometimes we forget to celebrate our milestones. So even in the office, you see people put up your goals. People are confident I'm doing well. My boss would always rate me very high. My boss will appraise me high. But I opened some goals and I'm like, you did a whole lot. And you're not even sharing up to 1% of what you have done. Because as Black people sometimes, and as Black women, we feel that, yes, we have done what we're supposed to do. You have to tell your story. And you can only tell your story by celebrating. So if I celebrate, people will not clap for me. People are inspired by what you do. But there are certain elements, human emotions, that you cannot stop. Some people just feel, why her, why not me? Why this, why not me? No, I don't want to celebrate her. She didn't do anything that is big. But they are inspired by your action. Tell your story, irrespective of what you feel, how you feel, and what you think others will say. Constantly celebrate your milestones, like these women. So lead by example to inspire action, empower others to inspire action, celebrate milestones to inspire action. Now, having said all of that, if you don't have a strategy in life to achieve your goals or achieve what you want, then there's an issue. So aligning your vision with strategy helps you to build clarity. It helps with clarity. Now, and before you start, you have to first of all build SMART goals. So SMART here means specific, measurable, achievable, what's R? And timeless, right? You can Google what SMART means. So if your vision is not bigger than you, then you don't have a vision. It should be ambitious, not ambiguous, but yet achievable, right? R means relatable. So I give an instance. Sometime in 2011, I met a friend who had a real estate project, and he came to me to say, I think you should. He started, got some investors, and I'm like, me, a house? No. He starts too. I can't. And he said to me, any goal you set and you are easily able to achieve, it doesn't push you to do more, then you have not set any goal. Then it's not a goal. It's not ambitious enough. You should. And it's not about, I'm a woman, I don't need to live, I'm single, I don't need to live in a house, I don't need it. Because that's how society has structured us. A woman, this is your part, a man does, which is why you see some ladies, they're like, no, I need a man. What about you? The man can do what you have done. You can work. You can have a vision, but be strategic about aligning your vision. And I thought about it, and he said there are a lot of things you could do. You don't need. I'm like, okay, let's see. And he said it's an offline or something, offline plan, and you can start buying and paying instrumentally to a point. What about if you? And I asked him, what about if I default? He says, try not to default, which is why it's ambitious. You have a lot of money you waste. People come here, they have problems. You buy wigs, you do this, you buy new clothes. You can put that together and begin to save. And that taught me something. It taught me about my financials, how to manage my financials. And in 2012, I called him and he said he was already gone. Everything was gone, and they wanted to start a new project. And that's it. And if I had started, I would have been able to building a roadmap, to allocating my resources properly, and then I would then be able to measure, success or progress with the vision. But if we build a vision, we don't have a roadmap, we're not able to allocate resources. Resources could be money, could be time, could be energy, could be people, and we're not able to measure progress after building a goal during a particular time, then we have failed at that vision. Now, remember that some people say we are not clear. Clarity is a journey. Clarity is a journey. Open yourself to being flexible and understand that it is a journey. Now, in all of this, having said that, let us understand that challenges will come. Even with the most and the well-defined vision, there will be roadblocks. There will be resistance when you try to push change. There will be misalignments. There will be obstacles, right? But a clear and compelling vision must be strong enough to stand challenges. But we must be flexible enough to adapt new realities. I'll give a case study. I at some point, a group of people, some ladies, some ex-staff came together, they joined others, they called me out on Twitter. It didn't deter me. I wasn't supposed to go to work that day, but some of my friends called me and told me, I dressed up, I went to work, and I kept my head high. I noticed that some of my colleagues were coming to sign this and they were looking into my eyes to know if. And one of them came and said, Mama, don't worry what they said. She's left in the UK. Don't worry what they said. We saw this, we saw that. But however, we stand behind you and all of that. And I came back to my house. I cried because of what she said. I wiped off my tears and I went up straight. I realized that I have also made a couple of mistakes. But I decided that I was not going to think about my weaknesses. I was going to focus on my strength, because my strength was obviously more than my weaknesses, right? You noticed me, that's the strength. And I said, there's some things I had to do because humans are not perfect. And you will learn along the line. We're learning on our own. We didn't have mentors to look up to. The mentors that we had were far away, far from us, and we just saw them from afar. So seeing mentors from afar meant that we didn't understand their values, we didn't understand how they operated, we just understood that their IQ, based on what we saw online, based on the achievements and their milestones that we saw online being celebrated, but we didn't understand their EQ. And nobody teaches you that. You have to train yourself. And if you're lucky, you have a good company, they train you. And if you're on your own as a manager and entrepreneur, you have to also train yourself. So I understood that part and I decided I was going to overcome my challenges, but my vision was clear and my vision continued. Now, just to summarize all of this, it's very important that we craft our vision, we communicate our vision, we inspire action through our communication, and we align our vision with a strategy. Now, there's something that came up after Diola told me to take this conversation. And this morning, my colleague sent me an International Women's Day video. And I will share with you, even if we're supposed to launch at 12. I'll share with you because I've always had a vision. That's why I said, keep my vision, my personal vision, and on Doyent Circle. That's a personal vision. And I lead a company in a group. And what I have done as a leader is to move my vision, to carry my vision everywhere I go. I carry my vision everywhere I go. In church, I have a vision. At work, I have a vision. At home and in the family, I have a vision. With my friends, I have a vision. And the vision is to ensure that I mentor people. I have a couple of mentees. I even influence my friends with the choices that I make, with the decisions that I make, with how I carry myself. So it's a full circle. But I'm going to share a case study of how I've carried that vision of mentorship even to my place of work with a video. Please, I want you all to relax and try and enjoy the video. However, I would unshare and try to fix the video. 1 second, please. Oh, sorry. Oh my goodness, I have to stop sharing. I'm so sorry, please. It feels kind of clumsy here now. So I don't know what we are seeing.
It's okay, well, it's okay.
Okay. Audio. MacBook Pro. Did you hear my audio? But did you hear my audio, Diola?
No, I can't hear it right now.
I don't know how to drive that, but I'll try.
Do you want to share your screen
Yes,
the way you
I
shared
want to
your
share a
presentation?
video.
Oh, fantastic. Okay, so share your screen again.
Okay, I'll do that.
Yes, share your screen again.
But I want to be sure that I'm fixing my audio.
Okay.
Okay. I hope I'm doing well for time.
Yes, you're doing well. Absolutely. How about 10 minutes?
Okay.
Give or take, so that's
I think
good.
the video is less than 10 minutes. So,
Okay.
okay.
So have you been able to share?
Yes. Can you see my screen now?
Not yet. Okay, give me 1 second. Let me see.
Yeah.
So, yeah,
Please, if you can see my screen to the audience, is it possible that we wave or comment? I can see your screen.
I can't. Lishay says you influence colleagues too. Thank you, Lishay, for that comment. Miriam,
Thank
I
you.
can't see your screen.
Can you see now?
I can't see your screen. No, I can't see your screen yet. So let me just try to.
1 second. I'll try again.
Okay, please.
Share screen.
Does this say sharing?
Yes.
Okay.
I'm sorry, I didn't tell you I was sharing a video. I
No,
probably
it's
would
okay.
have
It's okay. So it's supposed to
shared.
pop up. All right. Yes.
So
Yes.
let me know
Yes.
if you've
Now.
seen the screen.
Yes. Now it's showing. Okay. Yes,
Okay.
please.
Can the audience see?
I can see it, but maybe you should play it. But I can see it. Yes, it's good here. Please play it so we can test it out.
Can you hear?
Yes. It's not so loud. Oh. The-
Can we see now? Can we hear?
I can see. I can see. I can see it, but I can't hear it. Omar, can you confirm if you can hear this video? Omar, I brought you in real quick. Can you confirm if you can hear this video? So I can't hear it.
I think the audio has to come with Oma. I don't from her end.
Most likely, because I can't hear it. But Omar, can you hear this? Can you hear it? Can you hear the video? Omar, I think you're muted. We can't hear you. Unfortunately, we can't hear it. So maybe we would request a link to the video on YouTube so that we can send it as a link to our viewers. What do you think?
And I can send that to you. That's
Okay.
fine.
Thank you so much.
And you can. Okay,
Thank you
that's
so
fine.
much.
So I can summarize.
Okay.
As we go ahead in the video, I can just discuss
Okay.
it. Now, so we have a project called the Women Leading Change, as you can see on the screen. So this was far back in 2024. We launched it on the International Women's Day in 2024, and it was for women only. So we went to a ground where we could, we could identify. So the problem we realized was that there are no mentorships. People are not mentored effectively. So it's okay that you are mentored functionally, but emotionally, how are you mentored? Now, so we went out to the University of Lagos. We set up a campaign. We targeted women, young women, and we looked at mass comm. We looked at marketing and theater arts. People who are budding, aspiring leaders in our industry. And we had a competition, we had a master class, we had a symposium, and we rounded it up with a pitch. So we had 12 winners. I think we had over 50 contestants. We had people who came. We selected just 10, 10. We selected about 20, and we got 10 winners from the pitch and 2 winners from an attitude point of view. And at the end of the day, 2 of them were supposed to have internship, but we saw like the drive that you can only get in the female gender. 3 people wanted to, and we finally had 5 people mentor with us. They worked with us, and at the end of the day, there's a result. And the result here says that these women have grown, they have learned, they have been mentored, and they now understand what functional and emotional means in a place of work. And we have prepared them for leadership. So what does that say to us? The vision, your personal vision comes to bear at work. Your personal vision comes to bear when you are a leader. So this is a success story of 5 of them, and we're launching today at 12. So that's a mini documentary of their journey. So I will pause now. So this just says to us that no matter what you do, right, you are able. Second, I need to stop sharing. No matter what you do, you are able to carry on your vision. And your vision changes. So when I had that vision earlier, the vision didn't say that you have to do this, you have to go to Unilag, you have to do this, you have to do that. My vision has been on. I have Doyen Teku where I tell stories, and it's always stories around women, stories around our experience, and stories to urban women. I have a foundation with Smile where I cater for women. So it's constantly about mentoring women. I have a whole lot of people that I mentor by my actions and inaction, by supporting them and in their career paths. So it shows that in everything that I do, I constantly, even in the family, I'm very focused and invested in my nieces, my nephews, my cousins that are women. In everything that I do, I ensure I carry on that vision. I decided to share that video. Unfortunately, we couldn't hear the voice, but I urge you to all go onto Denso Agile page at 12 noon. You watch the documentary, leave a comment of what you have seen. And I try to ensure that whatever vision I have is aligned across everything I do. Right? So it now takes us to, one second. It now takes us to providing clarity. You have to be flexible. I don't know what next I will do in my line to mentor and inspire women. So please, as we leave here today, ensure call to action. Please, can we all see my screen?
No, we can't see your screen. Do you want to share? Are you sharing your slides again?
Yes, I'm sharing my slides again.
Okay. Okay.
So as we celebrate International Women's Day, in all that we do, let us ensure that we are clear on our vision and also understand that that vision is a journey that changes with time. So today I want us to, my call to action to everyone here who is a budding leader and aspiring leader is to craft your clear vision. So create a 1-sentence vision statement for your leadership journey. It has to be clear, it has to be concise, it has to be inspiring. Communicate the vision. So practice sharing your vision with someone today. Talk to people. I have friends that I talk to. I have family that I talk to. Understand that there's a difference between your friends, your acquaintances. Just share. It could be your younger colleague in the office. What do you think about this? What do you think? Just share thoughts. Just share and see what kind of feedback, see their responses, ensure it inspires, and you then begin to coin, which is why I constantly say clarity is a journey. Clarity is a journey. Now, upon communicating that action, ensure you put it together, and whatever you do, take a step this week. take one step that aligns with your vision, whatever it may be, and act on it. Let it inspire action. It might be online, offline, church, at home, anywhere. Let it inspire action. Now, and then ensure that you constantly align that vision with the strategy. Break that vision into actionable steps. Set smart goals. And as you move closer to making it a reality, understand that it's constantly a journey. And one last thing that I did not mention here, celebrate your milestones. So clarity in what you do precedes mastery. The clearer your vision, the stronger your leadership. When you know where you are going, you bring others along with confidence and purpose. When you don't know where you are going, you don't have a team. When you don't know where you are going, you lack confidence, you lack purpose. And this is a statement by Oprah Winfrey. I will try. I've just used to close my session. Thank you. Thank you for listening. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you so much, Miriam. God bless you. Um, I'm trying to see how we can. Okay, so can you stop sharing
Yes.
now? Okay, excellent. Thank you so, so much. Please let us appreciate her in the comments. I can see John is telling you, thank you so much, Miss Miriam, for inspiring us and choosing to take your women under your wing. You are a true queen and a leader, and I completely agree. I've known you for a while. You are a complete queen and a leader. You're consistently pushing the barriers. I remember Ada Beckett's when you did the show. Was it last year? I
About the
remember
country.
amazing show. Ada the country, it was everywhere. Please don't forget to send my tickets when next we're doing it. Right? Right? But and Abisola Gaga is saying, craft your vision. You see, this is what you've taught us in this session. Communicate the vision, break the vision into actionable steps. Constantly remember that clarity is a journey. Miriam, we are super, super grateful. We want to say thank you for honoring our invitation. Indeed, a queen to us, and we received you on International Women's Day. So, on this special International Women's Day, would you please say Happy International Women's Day to Miriam? Please type it in chat. Tell her Happy International Women's Day. We love you. Thank you for coming. And we can't wait to see you. Maybe the next one we're going to be having is in New York.
Thank you for having me.
Dubai.
Thank you for having me. So, ladies, let's begin to accelerate action. Right? Thank you so much. Thank you for having me. I appreciate it.
Thank you. Thank you very much. All right, ladies, you've heard it from our special guest, Miriam. She came and she dazzled us today and she taught us so much about crafting a clear vision. If you missed that session, you want to play catch up and you quickly want to rush and watch the replay, okay? We're having a replay. You quickly want to rush and watch the replay. So we're going to have our next speaker. And to welcome our next speaker, we're going to have our amazing, amazing Omar introduce our next speaker. Our next speaker is also another powerhouse. Like, we curated these speakers for you. They are powerhouses who have come to share with us. So, Omar, we can't see your video. Do you want to turn that on so that we can introduce our next speaker? Let me know, please, if you're having any trouble so that I can know how to help you.
Thank you. Thank you, Coach.
Thank you. Yes, we can't see your video though. Is it just me? Can anybody confirm they can see Omar's video?
Coach. Okay.
You're welcome. So we can hear you, but we can't see your video. We can hear her, so I'll just give her a minute. And while she's trying to...
And our next speaker will be talking to us about adapting to change with an emphasis
do you
on
want to start that again?
Maintain focus and
Okay, I think she's been logged out. Okay, so here's what I'm going to do. I will read the speaker's bio. I think she's been logged out. Please let me know if you can hear me. Please type in chat if you can hear me. Let me know so that I'm not having a personal motivation. Right. Okay. Is happy. Thank you. Gives prayers, Solomon. Gift says happy International Women's Day. Same to you. All right. Our next speaker is ready. She's ready. She's ready. I don't seem to see Oma. I think Oma may be having some technical. Okay. Oma, you're back.
Nana, you're welcome.
Oma, you're back. Can you? Yes. Thank you so much. All right. So Oma, I'll leave you in the hands of Oma right now so that she can introduce our special guest, my
Oh, you
fellow
didn't hear me all the
visionary.
way.
I can't wait to hear. No, I didn't hear you all the while. I'm not sure if it's just me. I'm also looking at the chat, and I can see now. I can see your screen. Okay, that's I can see your screen. Always setting the pace. Oh wow,
Thank
what has
you.
gone on in the chat?
I was like, okay, so
Okay,
change
so
is
Oma,
one
over
thing
to you,
that is
please.
constant in life. And our next speaker will be speaking to us about adapting to change with focus on maintaining focus and agility in an environment. Anna Ndupaya is a faith-driven leader.
All right, so Nana, Nana, I think I'm just gonna do it myself. I think she's really yes. I'll just do it myself so that we don't keep you. Just give me 1 second. Excellent. All right. So Nana Hawa Indipaya is a faith-driven leader, social impact advocate, and visionary entrepreneur committed to equipping women to break cycles, build thriving lives, and walk in their God-given purpose. As the founder of Free to Become, she leads efforts to prevent intimate partner violence through faith centered education, advocacy, and leadership development. Her work sits at the intersection of faith, entrepreneurship, and social change, positioning her as an influential voice shaping policies, equipping leaders, and inspiring women to take bold action in their lives and communities. And without further ado, I'd like to welcome my fellow visionary, all the way from Visionary Compass Accelerator Program, the one and only Nana Hawa from Lab 9. Nana Hawa, it's a pleasure. Yes, I have to flaunt it. I wish Coach EJ was here. It's a pleasure to have you here this morning. Thank you for honoring our invitation. I'm super excited to have you here. Yes, and just for me to let our listeners know, Nana comes with fire. She's not joking, right? She's a visionary. So she's not an ordinary woman. She's a powerhouse. And I want you to pay attention. I want you to soak and take everything that you possibly can. And if you've got questions for her, please don't fail to ask your questions in chat. All right, Nana, over to you. Do you want to share your screen so that we can? You're
Yeah,
fine.
I think I'm already sharing my screen. Is there something else I need to do? Let me see. Okay, fantastic. Hi everyone, thank you so much. Visionary Adiola, it's such an honor and a pleasure to join you guys today. Thank you for honoring me and happy International Women's Day to all of you. It's such a special time and such a special day. And I believe it is such a special dispensation for all of us to step fully into our visions and do mighty things. I've been given this wonderful topic that I really love, adapting to change, maintaining focus and agility in a shifting environment. The world is changing so rapidly, and this is such a timely topic. So, why is this topic relevant, right? In today's rapidly evolving landscape, women leaders encounter unique challenges that require resilience and adaptability to maintain alignment with their vision. One of the reasons is because of the erosion of diversity, equity, and inclusion initiatives. There's wars, there's budget cuts, there are policy changes, and all of these are leading some organizations to scale back efforts to be more inclusive, which means that there's potential pushback on workplace diversity, and that has a lot of impact on women and other minorities. Another reason why this topic is so relevant today is because of the impact of automation and AI. There's nowhere that you go to today that you don't hear about AI, automation. It's so amazing because it offers different opportunities and gives you a chance to really accelerate your goals and your vision. But with all of that acceleration, it means that some jobs are being wiped out completely. And what happens, unfortunately, is that historically, anytime there's changes in jobs and jobs are being lost, predominantly affects women, predominantly affects minorities. Then the final thing is obviously balancing authentic leadership with traditional expectations. We hear it all the time. This is how a woman is supposed to show up. This is how a woman is supposed to lead. This is how she's supposed to dress. This is how her personality is supposed to be. So many voices in your ears can drain out your authenticity. And when your authenticity is compromised, it means that you're not showing up in your full self. It means that when you have opportunities that pop up, instead of taking advantage of them, you are struggling with imposter syndrome, trying to figure out if you're worthy or not, and that just slows you down. So these are the reasons why it's really important that we learn how to adapt. What is the most important thing for us to do? We need to first change your mind. I think the person that was introducing me had mentioned it earlier too. Change is the most consistent occurring aspect of life. You have to learn to embrace it. A lot of us are afraid or wary of change. We think that it means that something bad is going to happen to us. Perhaps it will, perhaps it will not. But in light of the fact that we know that it is inevitable, we need to embrace it, accept it as part of life. And once we do this, it kind of sets us up for a good opportunity when it comes. Now, we're going to do a little exercise. Are you ready? I can't really see your comments, but I hope you are. Now, take a minute and breathe in and breathe out. Can everyone hear me? Good.
Yes, we
Breathe in
can.
again and breathe out. Now, try holding your breath for like, I don't know, 5 seconds. Now, you can see the difference between just breathing in and out naturally and holding your breath. For me, I always say breathing in and out is change. It's as you're breathing in and out, things are changing. It's the most natural state of life. When you try to resist it, like holding your breath, you can't do it for long, even if you try. And then the second thing is that if you keep fighting that natural occurrence of breathing in and out, what happens is that you're the one that ends up being gasping for air. And if you insist on being stubborn and saying, I can breathe in for long, I'm a bad guy, what happens is that you probably pass out, right? So that's the same thing with change. If you resist it, it becomes a thing that actually causes chaos in your life because it's very natural. There's nothing you can do about it. Now, still talking about change, I want to talk about a book I read a few years ago. I don't know how many of you guys have heard of the book. It's called Who Moved My Cheese? It's by Spencer Johnson. And this book, when I read it, it just expanded my mind. I'll give you a brief summary. And as I'm sharing about it, I want you to think about the character that you relate to in the book and the lesson you can learn from it. So there's 4 characters in the book. There's Sniff and Scurry, who are rats, and there's Hem and Haw, which are supposed to be human beings. Now, Every morning, 4 of them, they've got this place they go to where there's a lot of cheese. And they go in the morning, they go get their cheese for the day, and they go back home and eat their cheese. Sniff and Scurry are diligent in going to get their cheese early every day, day in and day out. Hem and Haw, on the other hand, they get used to seeing the cheese there. They get complacent, they're slow, they don't go early to get it, they just drag their legs. When they get there, they get what they want and then they leave. Now, because Sniff and Scurry are diligent, over time they notice that the supply of the cheese is dwindling. So they start thinking, what can we do? What are the next steps? So that when the cheese actually completely goes out, they've already moved to the next level. Hem and Haw, on the other hand, they're not paying attention. It's when the cheese completely wipes out that they realize, oh, there's something wrong, right? And then one of them, I can't remember which one it is, either Hem or Haw, goes and says, oh, maybe we should go look for cheese somewhere else. And then Haw says, no, this is my cheese. This is the way I've always done it. How can they come and move cheese? Why did the cheese finish? Blah, 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 And they stay there, they get hungry, and they're starving day in and day out, they're starving. And then Hem finally says, you know what? I'm tired. Let's go get the cheese somewhere else. And Haw still keeps insisting that he's not going to go. Things have to stay the way they've always stayed because this is how he's always been. And then, Hem leaves him and starts going to find more cheese. And as he's going, he's making notes on the wall of all the things that he's learning in the hopes that Haw will see those notes and be inspired to come searching. Obviously, as Hem is going, he gets to the place where the 2 rats had gone. There's new supply of cheese. There's so much cheese. He's so happy. He fills his stomach up and he considers going back to get his friend Haw. But then he realizes, just like all of us will have to come to that realization, that you cannot force anyone to change. They have to accept it themselves. Now, when I read this book, I was Hem, in the sense that I was initially resistant to change. I didn't want to try anything new. I was just used to my own way. But once I realized that that was futile, I've made a commitment, and that's part of why I'm here today, is to drag everyone along with me to share as many lessons as I can as I keep searching for my own cheese. Oops. Give me 1 second, please. Trying to... Okay. Did the slide change? Yes. Okay, fantastic. So what are the lessons on change? The first one is change is always happening, right? You can moan like Haw, or you can adapt and keep it moving. The second lesson is you can actually choose to enjoy change. A part of why we struggle so much is because change is actually a critique of the past. It's almost like saying that whatever it is we were doing, our strategy that we're working with is not working. If we internalize and think that the work we do, whatever it is that we're doing, is our identity, it makes it really hard for us to change because we see it as you're saying, I'm not good enough. But it's not true. Your identity is separate from whatever it is that you're doing, right? So if we stop taking things so personal, then we can learn to enjoy change and be more excited when opportunities come. The third lesson is that we need to learn the signs of change. Because Hem and Haw were initially not paying attention to how much cheese was available, they didn't notice that the cheese was going down. If you don't know what the current status of things are, there's no way for you to know when it changes. So you've got to pay attention. You've got to be aware. You've got to be situationally aware. And then the final one is that if you don't evolve, you're going to die. If you insist on saying the same, if you resist change, you're not just standing still. Everything else is moving ahead. So it seems that you're actually going backwards. And at some point, you're going to go extinct. Building resilience. Resilience is one of my key words. It was one of my key words for 2024. Why is this so important? Because it's the skill and the capacity to be robust, not just manage through, but actually thrive under conditions of enormous stress and change. Beyond even just embracing change like we've talked about, we have to be able to respond quickly and adequately. I'm going to share with you guys one of my favorite quotes. It's by Homer. It says, I will stay with it and endure through suffering hardship. And once the heaving sea has shaken my raft to pieces, then I will swim. This quote speaks to a determination, and beyond the determination to follow through on your vision or your goal, it's also a choice, right? Beforehand, before anything happens, before any change or any problem happens, that I will do what I have to do, that I will commit to my vision, that this goal that I have set for myself, this person I want to be, is worth enduring all the suffering, all the change, all the hardship, right? It's really important because when we truly stare down reality, we prepare ourselves to act in ways that allow us to endure and survive extraordinary hardship. We train ourselves to be able to handle anything that comes our way. Think about it. If there's a problem coming up, if you've been going to the gym, building your muscle, you're strong, you're able to respond quickly. When problem comes, you can quickly respond. But if the problem happens and then that's when you're lifting weights, what good is that? It's not useful, it's not helpful. You can't really do anything in that situation. So that's why resilience is such an important tool. And how do you build resilience really? Like, how do you learn to be robust under stress and change so that you can easily bounce back? I think it will always start with yourself, right? Who am I? What do I like? What are my strengths? What are my weaknesses? How do I leverage on those strengths? What are my values? I think when I was younger, this is something that I struggled with a lot. I think it's a really important step. If it's something that you're in this audience and you haven't done it, you're not clear on your identity, you don't have clarity on who you are, what makes you tick, what makes you bloom, which means this is how I want to show up. These are the people that make me excited to do good work. These are the people that I want to impact with my life. If you don't know all those things, if you don't know how you want to show up, looking at the reality of things, taking that time, taking the stock and looking at the different opportunities that your strengths, your weaknesses, your values can be reflected, you're just not going to be able to be robust. You're not going to be able to respond quickly because if you don't have clarity on yourself, when things happen, when shifts change, if AI comes up, maybe you're an accountant or you're someone that's passionate about women, for instance, maybe you work in the development sector. We know that there's been so many budget cuts and perhaps you lose your job. Maybe you worked in one of the USAID programs. Now, all of a sudden, you haven't got a job, you don't know what to do, you don't know what you even like, you don't know what you care about. It's gonna just really shift your life. Your foundation is going to be so shaken because you had tied your identity to what you were doing. But if you knew already from the get-go, I'm someone that's passionate about women, I love when they have equality, or I love when they have access to healthcare or things like that. You start to look for opportunities that you can still plug in regardless of what has happened in your life. Now, how do we stay aligned with our vision while navigating unexpected challenges and changes? Because the two things that I shared earlier about changing your mind and building resilience, those are kind of things that happen to you. I mean, those are kind of things that you need to work on before the change happens. You don't want to be doing that in the middle of change. So if you haven't done it, please try and take stock, make some notes, reflect on who you are, put it down somewhere so that you can go back to it when you have those tough times happen. So now what? Something terrible has happened, right? You've lost your job, or they've come to tell you that, they're making down cuts, or maybe you had an NGO and all of a sudden your funder has said, oh, we haven't got enough money, we're not going to fund you anymore. Or perhaps even I've been thinking about what's been showing up in the news with the senator that got suspended. Maybe you spoke up for what is right and then you're being bullied. What do you do in situations like that? The first thing is to breathe. I know we did an exercise earlier about breathing. Breathing is really important. It seems very simple and easy, and it is, but you need to remember when things happen, when unexpected changes and challenges happen, your mind is panicking, you're feeling overwhelmed, just breathe. It's free, it's easy, it's about as long as you don't have a health challenge, it's available for everyone, it's free, right? Don't panic. Yes, it's happened. Perhaps even the unthinkable has happened to you. Maybe you thought you were done having kids, all of a sudden you find yourself pregnant, Just pause. Don't respond in panic. Once you breathe, it allows you to take a bit of control, at least of your breathing. Then the next thing you want to do is you want to reflect. You remember that you are prepared for this. You actually have what it takes. If you need to be reminded, go back to the documents, go back to your friends, go back to your community, people that you have. I'll put this as a side note. It's important not to do life alone. You need a community. You need people that are there with you, that you've shared your vision with, that you're walking the journey with, because those are the people that will remind you, especially in those moments when you have forgotten about who you are, especially on this day, International Women's Day. It's so important that we do life together. You need a community. You need other women that support you, that are fighting for you, that are rooting for you, that are opening doors for you, that are speaking on your behalf. Because I think about the theme for the year, accelerate action, right? There's no way to accelerate action if you're doing it by yourself. It's really important that you situate yourself in a community. So, anyways, you're reflecting, you're going back to your friends or your community, they're speaking life into you. You're going back to your words that you've written down, you're reminding yourself of who you are. If you're a believer, if you believe in God, you're going to your confessions, you're going to maybe the prophecies that have been spoken over your life, you're going to your Bible, you're thinking and remembering. It's really important. As you remember, your shoulder starts to come back up again, your crown is situated on your head. You remember that you are that girl, you are that woman for the job, you have what it takes. And so now you're ready to bounce back because you have taken that time to pause, to breathe, to reflect and remind yourself of your strengths, of your values, of who you are. Then you can now take considered action. You're taking action from an empowered place. You're not feeling like a victim, because having that victim mentality can completely wreck you. You're thinking from an empowered place. You know who you are. So you're ready to move forward. Just like the palm tree, women can flourish in challenging times by staying rooted in their purpose, remaining adaptable, and using adversity as fuel for growth. This, I think, is such a powerful quote because imagine using the thing that was set up to make you fail and taking that and eating it all up and using it to grow stronger. Like, how powerful is that? That's so powerful because there's always going to be things that come our way. We live in a broken world. But if we can take those challenges, remain adaptable, and stay rooted in our purpose, that changes everything for us. So I've got some lessons from the palm tree that I want to share with all of us. The first one is that we need to stay grounded, right? This is part of what we talked about earlier. Once you do that work to know who you are and your why, you're able to stay rooted in those core values. It provides you stability because your roots are deep. They're not based on what has happened or what you were doing. They're based on who you are, which doesn't really change. You might adapt, you might be flexible, but the core of you stays the same. And once you have that clarity, it helps you stay grounded. The next lesson is to stay flexible, right? You need to focus on the big picture, the big goal, the big why, rather than the how. Don't get caught up in, oh, I've always said I care about education, so it has to be that I'm teaching in a school or I'm training children, whatever. As long as you're looking for ways to share lessons with people, you're still in line with those core values. You've got to just stay flexible. Another key thing that's really important in staying flexible is not to look down on opportunities. I've had those situations in my life. Earlier in my career, I worked as an accountant in Deloitte in Abuja, but I realized that I wanted to shift to the development sector. And so I saw an internship position and I applied for it and I got it. I remember going for the interview and there was this particular question that there was actually an error in the question, and I remember flagging it with them. Now, if I was so focused on, oh, I'm an auditor, I've worked in a big four accounting firm, why are they giving me internship position? I would have lost out on learning so many things and getting myself into that new sector. So you can't look down on opportunities. It doesn't matter what it looks like. As long as it helps you get towards your goal, your vision, please stay open, stay flexible. The third lesson is to stay responsive. Like Sniff and I can't remember the name of the other rats. Those two rats, they were paying attention to what was happening, and so they were able to respond quickly, right? Instead of letting negative things weigh us down, we need to look for what can I learn in this situation? How can this thing actually make me stronger? Now that this thing is here, how can I leverage it to build myself up so that I can be stronger and do more mighty things when the opportunities come, right? For me, after I left the development sector, I had my first child and I knew that I needed to stop working for a little bit. Being a stay-at-home mommy was really hard, especially at first, because I was used to, being a boss chick in the office, having my own money, doing whatever it is I wanted to do. And all of a sudden, I was a stay-at-home mommy with a new baby. For the first time I have a baby, and I'm one of those people that I didn't spend a lot of time with kids growing up. So I was learning a lot of things. But one of the things that was really tough for me was having to go to my husband and say, I need money for this, I need money for that. And it shifted my core, it shifted my identity, which is why I'm so passionate about this topic, by the way. But then I had to remind myself that I am a woman of excellence. I'm a woman that's always looking for opportunities to add value to people. So what can I do in this situation while I'm at home? I can be the best wife and mother. And then I can also look for younger ladies that I can mentor and speak to. And from that journey, that's how I'm here today. Now I'm an author, I'm a social entrepreneur, and all those things happened because I took that time off, right? And I stayed responsive. I looked for how I could learn and how those experiences could build me up and challenge me for better opportunities, right? Just like the palm 3, we can keep thriving, right? How can I make the best of this situation? How can I improvise for good? Like I mentioned earlier, women is a core audience for me. Like I love women. Anything I can do to empower women, I'm down for it. Like I said, I was home, but I still found ways. I can speak to the young girls in my church. I can open up my home for them to come and speak to me since I'm at home with my baby. And it just gave me opportunities to impact lives than I would have been able to when I was in the office, right? Others may give up, but not you. You must remember to keep thriving. The next lesson is to keep growing. The palm tree, when old leaves die, they fall away to make room for new growth. You must let go of the old ways that don't serve the new you that needs to come out. One of my favorite mentors, DDK, is always talking about it. Like, you've got to become that new person. Once you see that things are changing, things are shifting, you've got to ask yourself, which version of myself needs to come out now? And how can I step into that new person? What are the things that I need to do to become this new person so that I can keep growing, so that I don't stay static, so that I don't go extinct? And then the final lesson is to keep moving. You cannot stop. You have to find a way to keep moving the needle forward. Sometimes that looks different depending on what's happened to you. If it's like a huge life-changing event, sometimes keep moving includes maybe speaking to a professional to help you navigate and process the situations that have happened. Sometimes if it's not a big change, it can just look like, how can I leverage on my community? What courses do I need to take? Do I need to get coaching? Do I need a mentor to help me navigate this process? There's different ways to keep moving. It can be small steps, it can be big steps, but you've really got to keep moving. I believe that if we take all these lessons that I've shared and really internalize it, it cannot be just a box that you're ticking. It must be something that's true to you. I am a big proponent of authenticity. Like they mentioned earlier, I'm a believer, and I believe absolutely that God has made each and every one of us in a unique way with our unique gifts and talents. I don't believe that God wastes his time. I believe that he's intentional. And so if he's made you, he has made you because there's a reason for it. And it's not just a flimsy reason. So you have something to offer. And if you can keep that at the back of your mind, it can help you realize that you need to actually figure out what you're about, who you are, and what value you bring to the world. Because you do have value. You absolutely have value. And finally, I want to remind you, you are that girl. Maybe you were, maybe when you were younger, you felt like you were a bad boss, you were doing mighty things, and then life shifts. Maybe you become a wife, you become a mother. It's such a major shift for us as women. But you are still that woman. You've just got to dig deep, pull her out, and do what you need to do. Find a way to keep those energies going. Like I said, community is powerful. It changed the game for me. So find a community that works for you, that can keep you sharp and give you an edge. So thank you so much for listening. I hope that my session has been helpful for you, and I'm happy to answer any questions that you might have. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Hawa. Hawa, can you
Yes, I
hear
can hear
me?
you.
Thank you so much. That was amazing. Oma, can you hear me? It seems like she's frozen. I think she's frozen at the moment. Okay, so we'll just hope that she's able to get to join us. Flexibility is key, and we need to have an open mind. Howard, I have never read Who Moved My Cheese. I can't
You need
believe it.
to. It's so good. Yeah,
I need to. It's so
yeah.
good, yeah. I need to. I've never read it. Oh, my please, if you can hear me, let me know. I've never read it, and now that she just mentioned it, and I'm like, okay, I need to go and read that book because I know it holds. Just from listening to you this morning, I'm like, oh my god, and I've had access to that book for many years, so I'm definitely going to move to it. And thank you so much for sharing from your depth of wisdom. Thank you for sharing your personal stories about how you were able to cope with being a new mom and the struggles you had. I can see
Yeah,
somebody behind you trying to join you guys do. It is amazing. In fact, this is exactly how we like it. This is the
yeah.
authenticity that you were talking about. Yes, we are mothers. Luckily for me, my children have gone for inter-house sports, so they shift them out. If not, you see some people trying to be trying to to be part of
Yeah.
this show. But I want to thank you, Nana, and thank you to the young lady who joined us, a few minutes ago to try
Yeah.
to join. Please, on our behalf, helping tell her Happy International Women's Day. And I truly want to honor you. We truly want to say
Thank you.
thank you. We truly want to honor you for, and I know you had to take this at very short notice, right? And you came up with something this powerful and excellent. We want to say
Thank you.
thank you. We want to say we are blessed to have drank from your depth of wisdom.
Thank
God
you
bless
so
you.
much.
Thank you so
Thank
much, Nana. All right. So we'll look forward to seeing you. Like I said to the earlier speaker, maybe the next conference will be in New York or Dubai or Seychelles. We don't know where. What did he go?
you.
Singapore.
Yeah.
Right, we're not saying, but whichever it is,
Thank you.
thank you, Nana. If you have any, if you have last words for us, please you can share your last words while you're thinking about it. For those of you who are listening, let me just quickly check the chat. Tamna Tonya says she talked about flexibility and I need to have an open mind. I'll just go to the chat real quick to try to check for a couple of comments sent from you. Okay, so yeah, they're thanking you, Nana. Everybody's thanking you, and they're saying yes, we do need community. Indeed, we do need community. I mean, I found you in a community, and another community is trying to straighten out your hair, which is quite
Yeah.
amazing. Just yeah. So thank you so much, Nana. It was amazing having you. Do you have any last words for
Yes,
our
I think
audience?
in light of my daughter coming up here now, I think it's so important to honestly embrace every aspect of your life because I'm so aware of my position as a mother. When my daughter comes up, I'm not like trying to push her away. It's just part of who I am. So once you embrace every aspect of yourself, when it pops up, like it will pop up. You're not feeling
Yeah.
like you're not, I don't even know how to explain it. I'm not ashamed of it. I'm proud of it. So just
Yeah.
embrace every aspect of your life, everything that's happened to you, every role and opportunity that you've been given a chance to be. Just embrace it for what it is, and use it as an opportunity to grow and be your strength rather than a weakness that you're ashamed of. Yeah.
Excellent. Thank you so much. That was so spot on. Because when I started, I used to push them away. I used to be like, guys, just go, just go. But now I'm like, okay, so I have a special guest here who is trying to ask me for biscuits. Let me just start it.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
women, particularly when you're
Yeah.
working from home. So yes,
Yeah.
it is what it is.
Thank you so
Thank you.
much.
All right, have a
Bye.
good day. Thank you. All right, thank you to our speaker, Nana Hawa, who just dazzled us with her amazing presentation. Oma, I can't hear you still. Seems like you're frozen on the screen. I can't hear you still. Now we have a speaker that is very close to my heart. She's going to come up very shortly. Her name is Ifoma Dike. But before she comes to speak to us, I'm going to say a couple of things about her. And ladies, today we packed powerhouses. I love this. We brought in powerhouses. Yes, I can't hear you yet, but I know we're going to get there. And we have to read your bio so that people really understand that we did not we went above and beyond to get amazing powerhouses to talk to us. And so before I read her bio, I want to say that Ifoma is a beautiful soul. She's just an amazing, amazing, beautiful soul. She's a mother, and we've had several opportunities to interact. And I just love her soul. She's just so beautiful. And I mean it. I mean it. I'm not saying it because it sounds like cliche or is the appropriate thing to say. You guys need to look at it now. Check it. Check out Beauty. Just look at the Beauty. I love it. Right. So let me jump right into her bio as I read this amazing, amazing bio. So Ifoma is a senior executive with 15 years experience. She develops ESG, risk and impact strategies for businesses and investors, guiding decisions that balance financial returns with environmental and social outcomes. She's a passionate mentor and chief encouragement officer, which she champions for young women's growth. She holds an MSc in environmental technology from Imperial College London and a BSc in environmental science from Nottingham, and she has led over 105 projects across 19 countries in sectors like energy, infrastructure, TMT, healthcare, and mining. As the head of ESG at Cross Boundary Energy, she manages over $680 million plus in renewable assets. I told you we came here with big wigs. And beyond work, she's a devoted mother, a devoted wife, mother of two, and she's grounded in her faith. Ladies and gentlemen, I have the honor, the pure honor of welcoming to the stage this beautiful morning our special guest, our third speaker, Mrs. Ifoma Dike.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Adiola. I'm actually very shy. I'm like, all that speak for me.
Yes.
That's a wow. So, but thank you very much. I honestly like, I know when you told me about this idea,
Yeah.
and being here today is testament to everything I'm going to talk about today, about
Excellent.
moving from vision to actual action.
Excellent.
And it's fantastic. So kudos to you and your team, Adiola, and also to the co-speakers as well. I think Mariam, Nana, amazing. I was privileged to actually listen to both of them, and I was like, wow, these are real powerhouses. So really, thank you so much for putting this together, and also for all the people in the virtual room. I mean, I like energy. I'm sure you can hear from my voice. I don't do I don't know how to be like linear or like plateau. I'm very energetic. So please, can I have some noise in the chat? A little bit of a clap, a little bit of a whoop whoop, whatever works. Like it's important that we give them their flowers. So thank you again, Adiola, and I will get right to it.
Okay. So
And
the
happy
question,
International Women's Day, everyone. Happy International Day, women. The Women's Day, everyone. Amazing, amazing, amazing. All right.
before I let you go, do you want to share your screen? I want to confirm that
Yes.
you shared your screen and everything is fine.
Okay. Let me do that. Is
Excellent.
it working?
Yes, it's working.
All right. Great.
You may just want to do the, yes, this one.
Let me make sure that I don't know that it's changing. 'Cause I'm not. I would admit it. I'm not the most tech savvy person in the room, but I try.
You're
All
doing,
right. So is it changing?
yes,
It's
it is.
changing. Yeah.
Changing. That's,
Okay. Fantastic.
thank you.
All right. So today, I think there's something that Adiola forgot to add, or maybe I didn't add it in my bio, and that's I am a planner extraordinaire. I'm sure you've heard all the different projects. You can't achieve all those projects under your belt without planning. Planning is like my superpower. I've learned to embrace it over the years. It's something that I do naturally, from the home front as a mother to extended family activities. I'm the one that plans events, to work related activities, to professional development, everything. You always see me with a paper, see evidence. You see, always see me there with a paper and a pen. So I'm that kind of person that believes that nothing should be wasted. You don't need to be cluttering your brain. Put it down, write it down, and then you can then start to synthesize and get to specific objectives. So my goal here today, based on the brief I've been giving, is to equip you all with with a practical framework of being able to break down your goals into realistic, actionable steps. So we always get stuck. I'm sure that if I ask anybody on this call today, oh, how many people have New Year resolutions? I'm sure that I'll get half the room raising their hands. But if I then ask how many of you have actually started taking actionable steps towards those goals, that number might actually half. So the whole idea today is that we're going to move away from just having a goal in mind to actually getting it executed. So these are a few like quotes that I found, or they're pretty much like equations of success and fulfillment and different things. And the whole idea here is that a goal is essentially something that you want to accomplish, whether it's personal, whether it's professional, whether it's a business objective. But at the end of the day, it all boils down to goals without structure, planning, or execution is just a dream. It's just a fulefu. It's just you speaking into the air. It's really not tangible at that point. So when we look at goals, don't think of it as, oh, I want to do this and then stop there. You need to be intentional about birthing that goal. As you set that target, let it be something that you do. And I'm even grateful that we've had two people speak before me, Mariam on clarity of vision, meaning where you want to go, and then the second one on being adaptable, being flexible, because I'm talking through some of those key points in what I'm going to share with you today. So today, what we are simply going to be bridging the gap for is how we connect goal setting to goal getting. So this is where most people struggle, being able to convert this. And so I'll just start with a few definitions. So goal setting is pretty much, it's simply listing what you want to achieve. What do you want to accomplish in a year, in a month, in a day, in a week, whatever time frame? What do you want to achieve? And then goal getting is about taking action. So the dissonance is when people just set a goal, but they do not act to get that goal or make that goal a reality. And that's where strategic planning comes in, is the bridge that marries both of them so that you can set goals and then achieve them through actionable plans and timelines. So I got this point from somewhere where it said that 91% of goals fail because there is no pathway to success. There's no pathway to achieving, no pathway to realizing that goal because you haven't put down a plan. So this, I really like this picture on the side. It just says a goal without a plan is just a wish. You're just wishing. You're just the wishing upon a star. It's really nothing. So if you want to put it all, so by putting it all together, goal setting, goal getting, the middle point is strategic planning. And what that is about directing, is about defining your direction, where you want to go. setting priorities, that is what is most important to you, and then allocating resources to achieve those goals. The resources could be your time, your relationships, your skills, your money. But the whole idea is that strategic planning allows you have a focus. You then know, okay, I want to bet this goal, and this is the plan to execute it. And so your actions align with that focus. You are also able to anticipate the challenges. I like how Nana talked about adapting to changes. It's important that you remain flexible. But at the same time, when you're able to think ahead of challenges, they don't really come as a surprise because you always have part one, part two. Personally, I want to put that I plan for everything, as I said earlier. And for me, as I am right now, my kids, my oldest daughter is about 8. But right now, I already have an education fund for her because I know where I want her to be in the next few years. If she wants to go to an Ivy League school, for example, I want to be able to afford it. So I'm making those financial plans now. So I'm not anticipating those challenges 1 year down the line. I'm thinking about it now so that it doesn't become an insurmountable task in the next few years. Strategic planning also helps you allocate your resources properly. I talked about finances just now. The fact that I can think now in those small steps, I'm being more intentional about how I spend my money. I'm more intentional about how I spend my time because I have a goal that I want to achieve. Then lastly, it's a roadmap to continuous growth. Because if you are planning for something, you then know what are my gaps, where am I failing, where am I falling, and then you then know how to propel yourself to achieve more in the next as you progress. And then finally, it's fun. It's really fun. I love it, and so I hope that you might find it fun as well. So the my plan for today, or what hope to cover today, is how to right size the goal, how to set the desired outcome, and then the strategies for helping you answer where you are now, where you intend to go to, what you need to do so that you get to where you want to go to, and then how you can improve. So I have this Slido. I like engagement. So I hope that everybody engages with me, and it would be good if someone can actually read out the results to me. But I want to pretty much get the room to know, how confident are you in your ability to turn goals into action as of today? As of today, like, how do you fare? Are you fully confident? I've got this. Do you need a little help? Do you don't know where to start, or you're not telling me, I beg, help me, you let me know which one. But use the slido.com, and then you log in with this number here, 9493005, and then you can put in your answers, and the answers will come up here live. So let's hope that this works. Finger crossed. As I said, I'm not super tech savvy, but I do try. So I'll give it about a minute. I don't think it's coming through yet. I don't know whether there has been any response so far.
So it's loading at my end. It's loading.
Ooh, that's a problem.
It's loading. So let's hope that, okay. Yes,
It's still loading.
I can see it.
That's
I can see it now.
You can see it now. Okay, can everybody else see it? Great. All right. So I've seen one response. Someone says, I've got this. Great. Anyone else? Anyone else? Anyone else? Anyone else? The chat is very quiet too. I need people to shake body small.
Yes. So the way it is, because people are logging in from for Instagram, from YouTube, from LinkedIn.
So it's taking a while.
Wow, yes, but we can see the chat.
Okay. Maybe Adiola, do you mind helping me copy the thing and putting it in the chat? Because I don't have access to the chat. And then we can come back to this maybe much later, or I can share the results later if that's okay. So I can move on quickly.
Yes, we can share.
Okay.
I'll copy it and put in chat. Absolutely.
All right, fantastic. So at least I've seen someone say I need a little help. So great. So let's keep on moving. So what we've talked about so far is people say, okay, I need a little help. You know what to do. You are a goal setter. You know how to plan, but you pretty just don't know how to get it done. So the number one step I would always say is your why. Before you go into strategically planning anything, you have to define why you are doing it. Your why is your internal motivation. Your why is your purpose. And I really like how Mariam said it earlier, when she talked about the fact that it's what keeps you going. It's like your fuel. Because whenever you feel that you're not hitting the mark, it's what keeps you going in those times. So understanding your why is the foundation for setting meaningful goals and staying motivated. So things that you can do to gauge your why. You want to ask yourself, what personal struggles have shaped my purpose? What problems or causes deeply resonate with me? And perhaps how have your past experiences influenced my passion or purpose? So personally, I'll say one. I'm actually a stutterer. I stutter. So one of the things that I was like, and one of the things that I remember very painful in my childhood is someone laughing at me for stuttering. Like, you know how people just like make kids in the playground and like you be copying you as they are stuttering. That thing was so annoying. I used to round me up. But then like I realized that I could actually do something about it. And it became very clear to me that that formed like a piece of the puzzle of who I wanted to become. So what is my why? I have a passion to see women flourish. And so I'm a firm believer, just as Nana said, I'm a firm believer in the fact that God has put something in all of us that the world needs. And so we are all called to be light so that we can shine. So my driver is simple. What motivates me is simple. If I don't shine, how can I encourage others to shine? That is my why. So I need to shine so that I can push others to shine. And so that cuts across how I speak, how I communicate, how I show up at work, how I'm able to stand in front of people like this kind of audience and speak as well. And it always propels me when I think back to what my why is. In my workplace, I'm the only Black female senior executive on the management team. And I have many people that are below me that are pretty much women of color. So I need to show up. I can't be cowering behind my screen or not showing up in any shape or form. I need to be that woman so that I can push them to be more. So point here is that your why helps you understand who you are, what you carry, and how what you carry can form an impact on others. Okay, moving very quickly. I know Mariam had thought about this earlier about creating SMART goals, but what I just want to just touch on is the context of SMART goals. Yes, you know your why. So now you know your why, you know the direction that you're going to go. You will not get to the airport and say that you're going to Abeokuta when you know that your destination is Netherlands, for example. You now know where you need to go because your why is the foundation. So now, as you now understand your why, you now know that you now have to clearly define what the goals that will speak to you achieving that why is, right? So, for example, I give the example of public speaking. I knew that I needed to show up powerfully at work. And so what did I do? I realized that I could not do it on my own. I set myself a target, gave myself a deadline, and I came to meet Adiola. Like, Adiola, help me. I need to learn. I need to build this skill because I need to show up powerfully in the workplace. And so I set a time-bound action, made sure that it was relevant to where I wanted to get to, made sure that it was achievable, meaning that I set a target, like a time frame for myself, and I made sure that I tracked my progress with Adiola. But the bottom line was that I was putting in place the right steps so that it didn't become a wishy-washy goal. Okay? So now we can have many goals. And I'm sure that if I ask many people on this call, how many goals do you have? I will hear like 20, 30. I want to be fit. I want to have 26-inch waist. I want to have smooth skin. You might have all those goals in mind. But all of those goals some of them might be superficial or might not really relate or be as important as they ought to be. So the most important thing here is that you have to learn to prioritize. And I really like this graphic on the side. It talks about the power of focus. When you're pouring into multiple cups without any particular focus, you end up with half-filled jars. When you focus on the maybe 2 or 3 or 1, you're able to fill up and move on quickly to another one. And so when you think about your goals, think about what is priority for me now, based on the season that I'm in. What is going to lead to the biggest impact in my personal life or professional growth? And it helps you articulate where you are now. Because you then know, oh, I want to be a good public speaker, but I can't even stand in front of my teammates to even say, So you know that is your starting point and that you need to put in place the right goals so that you become that person that you want to see. Now, we've talked about, sorry, I'm moving a bit fast because I'm mindful of time as well. But if there are any questions, please put them in the chat and we can talk about them much, much later. So now you've asked yourself the right questions, you set the right goals. Now we're moving into a space of where the rubber meets the road, action. Now, what I like to tell people is that you might have this big goal. Okay, I want to be Okonjo-Iweala, and maybe I want to be like Okonjo-Iweala in the next 5 years, right? The starting and the end, that's the graphics on the left-hand side. The starting point and the goal, they are far apart. But what you need to do is, don't think that you need to focus on just leaping and just say, oh, I'm going to go and join Gavi or go and join the World Bank the very next day. Know that learn to focus on the small steps that take you to that goal. That way you don't feel overwhelmed. That way you are able to break it into smaller, manageable steps, and that you can even break it into short goals, short-term goals, mid-term goals, long-term goals with the framework that you are able to establish. So, for example, you want to get a promotion. You know that maybe the person, a key the decision maker there is like your manager. You go and meet your manager. Okay, what is the gap between where I am now and where I want to be? You speak about the development that need to happen in your life, in your skill, in your presence, in whatever else, in your work ethic, whatever else. So that's the research. Milestone 2 is that you now start to execute. Once you execute, you then understand how you need to tweak how you present yourself. Milestone 3, you then go back to your manager. Okay, I've done this. Where else can I improve? And then by milestone 4, which is now you stepping down for that promotion, you've already done all the little steps that it will take for you to be given that position. Now, don't see these things as only like big milestones. What I like to tell people is that it's important that you don't just see goals as one big leap. See it as the systems, the small steps that you need to take. So rather than for you to say, oh, I want to be a good public speaker, it's about you being intentional and saying, I'm going to take 15 minutes of my time in a day to practice public speaking, to learn how to be a good public speaker. Those small actions are what leads to you being able to achieve that big goal. Okay? So the point I'm trying to make here is aim to build systems, not just goals. With goals only, you have a road, you have the pathway, you have the place you want to get to, you have the target in mind. And with a system only, you have the vehicle that will take you to where you need to go. But if you put two of them together, then rubber then really meets the road, and you can actually take that drive to the actual target of where you want to get to. On the left-hand side, I really like this graph because I'm this person. I know Adiola mentioned earlier about just starting from where you are. Personally, I have like a goal to get maybe 6-pack by summer. And I know that it will not come overnight. So what I do, I'm like, okay, Fama, just start small. What can you do? Even if it's just to go for a walk. Started with 20 minutes, now 30 minutes, now 1 hour. So that's just me just showing up daily. So no matter how it looks on the scale, bottom line is that at a minimum, I must show up daily. So I have another Slido here, but I might actually skip it if people are not able to view it or if the thing wasn't put on the chat. But what I wanted to ask here was, what are those roadblocks that are keeping you from executing? What are those things that are keeping you from executing? Is it lack of clarity? Is it the fear of failure? Is it procrastination? Are you largely overwhelmed by how big your goals are? Do you have resource constraints? What are those things that are keeping you or holding you back from what you want to achieve? So the Slido digits is the same as last time. So please just go to the same link and you will see the poll. It's actually have come up by now. I'll give it like a few seconds. If there's no response, I move on. Make sure that everybody can still see my screen. Okay, I haven't gotten anything yet, so I'll come back to this later because I think maybe the internet might be slow in projecting, so apologies for that. Okay, I can see someone is responding. So just one thing, a word. Is it clarity? Is it fear of failure? Is it procrastination? Is it whatever else it could be? Just put it down, one word. Someone is saying fear. Great, fear. Okay. So that's usually number one, fear of success, fear of failure, not being able to procrastination. That's my fellow baby girl. I'm in that category. When Adiola was speaking earlier, she was just whipping me with her words, like about trying to overthink things and not stepping out immediately. So fear, procrastination, those are very, very big ones. So these are things that obviously fear of not being enough. I like that. That is actually very true. Imposter syndrome is very, 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 very real. I'm confused on how to set my goals. It's a challenge achieving them. Fantastic. Great. So thank you for those responses. So I'm sure that many people that are thinking through what they wanted to respond is pretty much along this walkway. So I call them roadblocks, roadblocks to you achieving your goals. You feel that you're not enough. Maybe you in the past you failed before and you feel that you cannot do it again. You have some haters, all the haters. You have society itself. You have fear. You have doubt, self-doubt as well. So there are so many things that could come and pretty much serve as obstacles in you reaching those goals. Now, I'm here to tell you today that you can actually circumvent them. You really can. You really can. And I'll tell you my own experience has to do with procrastination. I am the overthinker. If you ask Adiola, I can overthink for Nigeria. I would think about everything because my background is risk management. So you can imagine I'm thinking about risk from all angles, coupled with just wanting to be everywhere. So I can overthink for my as in for the whole Nigeria. But the thing is that I had to note that thinking doesn't mean progress. And progress, and I have to translate, and I have to move away from wanting to be perfect all the time to just simply acting. Because God has given us the access to be flexible. You can always go back and upgrade or improve on what you've done. I can imagine that maybe Adiola is thinking today, oh, this is not the perfect setup that I wanted for the conference today. But the thing is, she stepped out already. And she knows that as she's moving on from today to the next one, she's actually going to take back the results from today to improve for the next cycle of the conference. So when you have that framework of just stepping, just step out, start to do. Look beyond the doubts, the things that keep you back, and just step out. An example of for me is I realized that by setting deadlines for myself, I must do something by a particular time. And the worst thing for me is that I work in a very high performance environment. So if you don't deliver, everybody is pretty much visible for the whole world to see. So you must deliver. So even if it's not perfect, even if I'm making errors in my text, whatever it is, I will deliver first and then correct it after. So that's one way that I've learned to just step out of it. Setting clear deadlines. When you have deadlines in place, it brings urgency. I'll be honest, during this presentation today, I was like, I just said, oh, I'll do it. And then it became like more of a expedient activity. So I needed to push to get it through. But just trust yourself that you know what you need to do and all of that. Then build habits, commit to a routine. Don't think that you need to know everything at once. Something that Adiola talked about, that you need to ensure that you are not just thinking about, oh, I need to be this person. Start from where you are now and then plan to grow. So there are things, as I mentioned earlier, start with the small things and move and improve over time. And then what I've learned to do for myself is there is also to trigger myself. Like I've learned to make the goal reaching attractive. I give myself rewards. Oh, you've done well. Pat yourself on the back and keep on going. Make sure that it's something that can bring about a habit. Set cues for yourself. Is it on your phone? Is it a visual reminder? Set those things for yourself and it becomes top of mind for you. And then your community, I cannot emphasize that enough. I have accountability partners. I have coaches. I have friends. I have people that push you to want to be better, to step out from your comfort zone and step out to achieve that goal. When you have that community, they are the ones that would propel you. They're the ones that will push you to wanting to achieve more, to do more. And then they also help you identify your pitfalls, areas that you are missing it. And then you then know how to recalibrate and then step out. So all of these things are things that you would try. And when you see that it's working for you, you continue. But if they're working for you, you feel the need to always step back, recalibrate, and step out again. But the point is, don't stop. I like what Nana said about keep improving, keep moving, don't stop. Now, I think so for here, in terms of procrastination, one of the things that was a critical point for me was making sure that I'm not overwhelmed. And that's where the small actions component came into. So now look at this exercise. It's a personal exercise and it's something that you can tell yourself every day. One of the things that works for me is that mantra. What do you tell yourself every day? I want to be consistent. I want to be this. I am this person. I am this person. I am this person. Now read this and then read it back right to left. Courage will kill fear. When you step out courageously, you would always ignore imposter syndrome. When you step out confidently, you are able to push doubt away. When you have focus, you are no longer overwhelmed. When you act, you push aside overthinking. So all of these things play a role in helping you step out and execute fully. So now I put together some cheat codes. I've talked about some of them already, because it's pretty much what you do every day. And I have my own interruption here, but pretty much it's pretty much the what you're able to do every day to move your goals to actions. And one of the things that have stuck out for me this year as a procrastinator that I am, is to always default to action. When I start to feel myself going into that deep hole of overthinking, I step away and I start thinking about, okay, what can I do now? I don't have to be perfect, but what can I do now? I've learned to embrace patience. You will never be an Okonjo-Iweala tomorrow. You have to put in the effort on a daily basis, knowing that growth takes time. Same analogy, they're referring to the palm tree. It's not a palm tree doesn't come up overnight. You have to bloom. It has to be watered. It has to be pruned. But then at the end of the day, it will grow. So be patient with yourself. Be kind to yourself. Train for discomfort. All of these things, when it comes to attaining those goals, it will put you in very uncomfortable situations. So start with those small steps. Step out of your comfort zone intentionally. Being here today is actually me stepping out of my comfort zone. I would never have done this 3 years ago. I will find an excuse, but I'm here today, and that is me training for discomfort. Learn to adapt to change. Be flexible. Don't think that your plans have to be rigid. Once you see something has changed, adapt to accommodate that change. Another thing, visualize your success, write it down, put the picture of where you want to be, let it be clear in your mind. When you begin to change that mindset, you begin to embody it and become that person that you want to see. And then lastly, surround yourself with inspiration, whether it comes with the word, whether it comes with your circle, your community, whether it comes with your mantra. Keep yourself surrounded with inspiration. All right. So putting everything down to two buckets. When you are thinking about goals, there are actions that need to be taken to achieve those goals. If you don't even try at all, you are missing 100% of the shots that you don't even take. Meaning you're not even starting. But if you start and you even make mistakes, that's even better because you're able to fail cheaply. Meaning that you're able to articulate how you need to adjust so that you improve yourself for the next round. And for everyone on this call, on this conference that has gone through a cycle of failure or anything, note that that is your yesterday. So start from where you are today. Start from where you are today. It's only your today is your beginning, but you can still make that end if you still start today. So thank you very much, and I will pause for questions. But in the meantime, you can actually feel this thing for what you want to do differently going forward. Thank you, thank you, thank you.
Omar, are you there? Are you able to see? Are you able to talk? Are you able to? Can we see you?
Okay, I can see you. Can you see me?
Yes. Yes, please. Go ahead.
Okay, thank you. Thank you very much for that insight. I particularly like the fact that you said today is a new beginning. There's a tendency for one to feel some form of palpitation like I have been experiencing in the course of this conference. You you want to feel like, okay, it's the end because find yourself maybe in a slight rut, but it's not the end. Today is just the beginning. Your response to every challenge you face will determine how the next step will be. I'm trying to see if we have questions from the audience. Questions from our audience, comments. Yeah, so we see kudos to the last speaker. The presentation was very insightful. Thank you so much. Today, I'll start and leave fear behind. I think we all need to leave fear behind. I had to leave fear behind. I've had to leave fear behind on this call a lot of times. The internet has failed me. Um, we need to make efforts on a daily basis. Okay. Um, Trying to see from the audience to see if there's a question we can ask our speaker. Okay, most of what I say is thank you, thank you, thank you. Thank you for the illustrations. Thank you for the engaging Slido, asking people, okay, so where are you in the spectrum of things? Someone is saying, I needed to hear about doing it afraid and making efforts daily. A fantastic presentation. Somebody should ask a question now. Okay, so that suggests that everything you said was well understood. Okay, so if could you leave us with some parting words, please?
I think we've already covered it. Just do it afraid, literally. I think when it comes down
Okay.
to goals, like the more audacious it is, the bigger it is. The most important word in this season is collaboration. There are many goals that you cannot do on your own. So make sure that you, in taking your steps, carry your tribe along, carry the people that would actually help you make that goal a reality. If not, it might just become a dream. So thank you everyone for the time today.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Ms. Former DK, for that beautiful presentation. Okay, so we'll be moving on in this conference with the next speaker. I loved that one of the things Ifoma spoke about in rounding up is collaboration. Collaboration. Because our next speaker will be talking to us about the role of collaboration, team dynamics, culture in delivering effective execution. That's when it comes to building high performance teams. How do we align people with vision and purpose? To speak on this topic is Sheun Adaramola. Sheun Adaramola. Sheun Adaramola is a highly accomplished global business leader, currently serving as the marketing director of Visa West Africa. Our strategic and innovative approaches have been instrumental in building strong client relationship and driving growth in West Africa. Projects she has led in the sub-Saharan Africa include, and not necessarily limited to, FIFA World Cup, AFCON, and Olympics. Of particular note is the series on Airtel, where she worked prior to her current position at Visa West Africa. The Airtel series. If you remember, data is life. Yes, that was one of our projects. You're welcome, Madam Sheun Adaramola, to speak to
Thank you
us
for having
on
me. Good
building high
afternoon. I
performance
hope you can.
teams. Yes, yes, you're welcome.
Thank you so much, Omar. Madam, can you hear us? Thank you so much, Omar. That was brilliant. It seems like she's frozen. Can you hear me, Omar?
I can hear you. She's frozen.
I think she's frozen. So I wanted her to share her screen so that we can get started. And I just wanted to say a couple of things about her, but she's frozen. So I don't know if she wants
Okay.
to hear. But while we're waiting for her, I hope that she'll be able to join us. She'll be able to share her screen and join us because we have internet connection issues here and there. However, she's been an amazing uh, client over the years, and it is so refreshing to see someone so powerful and yet so humble. right? She's controlling so much. And like I said earlier, we brought powerhouses, right? We
Mm.
brought powerhouses and they did not come, they didn't come to play. They came to give us value and they've been delivering value since we started the conference. And Sean is not an exception. I see now that she may be having some connection issues. We are trying our best to bring her back into the session. So Oma, I know we're supposed to have a break at 12, like somewhere around now. She'll now we can't. Okay, so I think she's trying to reach me. So give me 1 second. Okay. All right, so she's just trying to connect. She's trying to join again, so she's going to join us again. All right, so Oma, based on the last speaker's delivery, Mrs. Ifeoma, she talked to us about just doing it. And you and I had a conversation about how we just needed to do what we needed to do,
Yeah.
right? How does her presentation remind you of that conversation?
Doing what you need to do. Okay, so there's a
Yes, please.
tendency, I think there's something that is called analysis paralysis. Now, this
Yes.
suggests that when you find yourself in a situation, you to overthink the situation instead of actually taking a step in the direction you need to take. And I personally feel, even though it doesn't always appear so, this is a perfectionist tendency. You don't want to start something until all other conditions, I think, like it says in economics, all other conditions being equal. But in reality, you
Yeah.
really find all other conditions always being equal. So we really need to make that move, even when it seems that, like every other thing, is not in place.
Exactly. Exactly. I love what you said. We really have to make that move, even when every other thing is not in place. And I remember when I tried to, before I got married, and I was telling myself, everything is not perfect yet. Everything is not perfect yet. And if we all waited till everything was perfect, well, if I waited, I don't know about you and others, but if I waited until everything was perfect before I got married, I think I'll still be, I think I'll still be trying because there were certain things that I was thinking, oh no, this has to be there, this has to be here, that has to be there, and all these things have to be said. And as we come back and have this conversation around vision, for professional women, for business women, one key thing I think we can have a discussion around is why is it? Why is it? And if I mention some of them, fear of not being enough, fear of not having enough resources. And I think we should dwell a little bit on fear of not being enough. Because a lot of us have interesting dreams and visions, right? We have interesting dreams and visions, but we struggle with accomplishing those interesting dreams and visions because sometimes we feel like we don't have everything we need. Was it one of our speakers talked about how she didn't have maybe enough money to complete the vision? I think it was okay, she is back. I think it was Miriam, how she didn't have enough money, but eventually she was able to do it. Okay, so I think we have our speaker back. Excellent, she's back. So we'll just let her take the stage. But before you take the stage, Shion, I said I was going to just say a couple of things about you, and I didn't want to say it in your absence. And I wanted to say that over the years, you've been an amazing person. Amazing, amazing. You are so powerful and yet so humble. You are getting so much done in the industry. You are one of the high flyers in the industry, but yet so unassuming. And I just want to thank you for just for who you are and just being so simple, so powerful, and so humble. God bless you. And I want to say thank you for honoring our invitation. I knew that you had a lot of things packed up before this meeting, and you're still looking like all this good. Oh God, you're still looking like so good. So I know that you did a lot of, you had to bend backwards here, and I want to say thank you on behalf of my team and I. Thank you for showing up at the right time, and I will hand over the stage to you now. Do you want to share your screen before I
Yes,
go so that I'm
please.
sure that Well settled.
Okay, one sec. And apologies for the issues. It's just one of those things that happens with internet. I'm connected to 3 networks and I'm still struggling to get
Wow.
on. Okay.
I know. One day, these things will be a thing of the past. Where we're like, there's nothing like network. So we completely understand. Thank you.
So let me know my screen.
Okay. Yes, we can see your screen. It's showing
Okay,
up
awesome.
slides. Maybe you wanna do it as
Put on slideshow.
presentation mode. Yes,
Yes,
please.
please. Okay, thank you everyone. Thank you so much, Adiola, for having me. I do not take it for granted. I truly appreciate you. And thank you everyone for being here since morning and listening in. I believe you all gained one or two things. I was able to catch up on some of the conversations with the last speaker, and I really enjoyed the session. So today, I'm going to be speaking on an interesting topic about leading a high performing team. But before we go into it, I'm going to make this as interactive as possible, at least at the start of it. I wanted you to look into this picture. I believe we are able to chat, right? There's a chat function, right?
I can't be able to chat, but your screen isn't showing anymore. Do you want to try it again? Yes.
Okay.
Just
So maybe I might kill the video for a while, just to, if it's from a network standpoint. Let me just go off for a while. I'm trying to get back to the.
yeah, you can just share your screen again, and then we'll.
Yep. Go off video for a while, just in case that's what's affecting the network.
Okay.
Then I'll share again. So let me know when you can see my screen. Can you see my screen?
Yes, we can.
Okay. So maybe what I'll also do in the interim, Adiola, I can share the presentation with you, and just in case you may be from your end.
Okay, give me
I'll
1 second.
just to.
Okay, no, we have it. We have it.
Okay. No, I'm sending an updated version of it. So I've sent that to you.
Oh, fantastic.
If you have the updated version now.
Okay.
Yeah. So so today we're going to be speaking, like I said earlier on, about high performing team. And apologies about the distraction. Let's go straight into it. So from this image, what comes to mind when you see this image? I guess I'll need somebody to help me read it out because I can't see what comes the chart. But what about this team? This is a Formula One crew. And I know, yes, Formula One is a niche game, right? It's a passion game. It's not everybody that loves Formula One. But at least to a large extent, we all know what it is all about. At least you have a little knowledge of it. And when you see this team, typically maybe on TV or for some of them.
So sorry, Shim, I have to interject you. Sorry, Shim, I have to interject you. So I'm seeing your screen, but it's not on the presentation. It's just generally showing your screen. It's not on the presentation.
Adela, I know. Why don't you just present? Let's just do this. Just present. And just present.
Oh, fantastic.
Okay.
Okay.
It's just submitations.
Okay, just give me 1 second then.
Apologies, everyone, about this whole thing. Look at this up my video. So while Adela is bringing up, I was saying about Formula One, right? So I know that it's not everybody that's familiar with that game, but at least you have an idea. So what a Formula One team would typically is that they try to get the driver to win the race, right? And before that, there's a lot of preparation that takes place in the race itself. I wanted to, what I wanted was to look at that image and tell me, give me few words in terms of what comes to see that image. So I'll just wait to pull up the slide and then just tell me from that image what comes to mind.
Okay, it's uploading. Just give it a minute. Can you see it's uploading?
Yes, I can.
Okay.
Cool. Thanks everyone for staying. Thank you for your patience and for your understanding. We'll get through it.
Thank you. Excellent.
I think it's taking a while. Okay.
Okay, so you can go ahead now.
Okay. Okay, cool. So from this image, you can chat. I don't know if the chat will be up and I'm able to see.
You can. I'll read the chat out to you.
Okay, that's fine. So from this image, we're just going to do this for 30 seconds. What comes to mind? So you can just chat, just drop text based on the context I already provided about Formula One crew in terms of being one of those teams that are considered as high performing team globally. What comes to mind? Looking at this image and just a little bit about what you know about them. You can just drop it in the chat. We'll take another 15 seconds. Just
teamwork.
Okay.
Shared focus.
Okay, cool. I like that. Teamwork, shared focus.
Yeah. Speed.
Sorry, I didn't get that. What did you say?
Speed.
Speed. Okay, yes, speed. Yes. Any other word?
Okay, somebody else says I see focus. Okay, somebody else says I see focus again. Thank you, Indira.
Okay, awesome. So thank you to everyone that has dropped in one or two words in there, and you are all correct, right? It's focus. It's teamwork. It's I think somebody said something about shared vision and all of that. You are all right because these are the characteristics of a high-performing team, and that's what we're going to be talking about today. And I will just be speaking from my own perspective in terms of my experience leading a high-performing team and also being a member of a high-performing team. So it's both ways, actually. So next slide, Adiola. Thank you. Next slide. I can just go. So Adiola already introduced you. My name is Shil, and I'm excited to be here today. I think I'll also have it right on my own end. I think it's taking time to move on. Adiola, I can move to the next slide. Okay, cool. So when you talk about a high-performing team, right, those things that we've all mentioned, I think somebody said shared vision, as if the person saw into my presentation, right? Definitely shared vision is one of those characteristics of a high-performing team. I think another person mentioned teamwork, which is more like collaboration. It's very important. And the other aspect will be trust when it comes to a high-performing team. And if you look at the Formula One team, they have to do all of this in less than 1 minute because they want the driver to win the race. But obviously, before they show up for that 1 minute race, to a large extent, they will have done a lot of teamwork and all of that, right? And this is why they are being considered as a high-performing team. In your own organization, I'm very sure that you have instances where some teams have been considered as high-performing teams. Why do you think those teams are considered as high-performing teams in your own organization? Why, after all, everybody goes to work to deliver results. And sometimes everybody is also delivering results depending on what the KPIs are. So from your own experience, like I said, this is going to be as much interactive as possible because I also want to learn from you. So from your own experience, looking at your own organization, just think of one team in your organization that you know that is being considered or perceived as a high-performing team. Beyond the results they deliver, what else? What else? Why do people really think highly of them? Adela, you also help me again with the chat here. Is it around the things we've mentioned, trust, collaboration, or is there something else that we've not mentioned based on your own experience within your organization?
Okay. So here, could you ask again? I'm not sure. Maybe people didn't got it. Could you ask?
So the question I asked was that in our organizations today, right? I'm trying to bring it closer to us.
Mhm.
There are some teams in the organization that are considered as high performing team. We all go to the organization to deliver results, right? And everybody's delivering results. But there's this one or two teams in the organization that they are just perceived as superstars, high performing team. Do you want to share with us those reasons why they are considered beyond the results that they deliver? Just in case we've not covered some of those characteristics, I'm just trying to bring that out more.
So they work with speed.
Okay. Efficiency.
Yes, efficiency.
Good. Yeah,
Then they collaborate.
collab-
Collaborative.
Okay, cool. I think it's still basically all those things. So good. I just wanted to be sure if we've covered all those things, or if there are other things people have experienced that have not been added or we've not mentioned so far, right? And but the other thing that I think for me that plays a key role, which a lot of people don't talk about, is diversity within the team. If you look at a lot of high performing teams, right, they have diversity in that team. Diversity might be in terms of their age, it can be in terms of their experience, in terms of their personality, but it's really one of the reasons why, or it might even be in terms of their expertise. But that is one of the reasons why a team is considered as high performing. It might be subtle, it might be not so obvious, but trust me, if you really dig deep, the reason why that team is really different beyond the result they are delivering is just because of the diversity they bring into the workplace. And we'll touch more on that. And I'm bringing diversity to the fore because it's one area that a lot of people are not comfortable with, especially leaders. Research has shown that a lot of people like to work with people who are like them. In fact, sometimes you see people recruiting people who behave like them, who think like them. And as a leader, that's actually not the best place to be. You always want to ensure diversity in your team at every point in time. Don't be scared to employ or to recruit people that can actually challenge your thinking, or people that are actually better than you. When I recruit, I always look for people that have the expertise I don't have. So yes, there might be a role I'm trying to recruit for, and that role is meant to deliver something. But trust me, deep down within me, I'm looking for somebody that has an expertise I don't have and that can cover a gap within the team that nobody on my team has. So diversity is one of the strong characteristics of a high-performing team. Adela, next slide, please.
Yeah.
So in terms of, so we're now going to go straight into it, right? If for you to be able to build a high-performing team, what are the key things that are required? Now, the first thing is that every member of the team must be clear on the goals. If they are not clear on the goals, they cannot really support. They cannot really articulate their role or the part they are meant to play. One of the things I do as a leader is to ensure that, and I like when the person says shared vision. In fact, when the person said shared vision, I was very excited. Because for me as a leader, I think that is always the first and the fundamental thing in building a high-performing team. And every year, what I try to do with my team, or even quarterly, I even review it, or maybe biannually, I always try to have a shared vision that we all carry together as a team. What a lot of leaders do sometimes is that they come up with a vision for the team. Yes, it's great you are the leader. You should set the vision. But what I've realized in my own experience is that when the vision is co-created together as a team, you get more people to own it. And it's no longer your vision, but it becomes the vision of the team. When the goals are just the boss's goals or the leader's goals, then you see the breakdown. And even when we think about leadership, right, I want you to begin to think about this even within the smaller groups you lead. So you might be at work where you don't lead a department today, right? But I'm sure you have one or two leadership roles. Even it might be within just a small committee where you function in amongst your groups of friends. Maybe there's a project you are leading and all of that, right? So I want you to begin to think of it from that perspective, not just from the perspective of, okay, I'm a unit head and all of that. Now, when people share, when you co-create the vision with people and people carry that burden with you, it's much easier in such a way that people can find themselves within that vision and they own it together. So when there is clear goals, it automatically helps the team to perform extremely well. If you look at, just think of those teams within your organization, or if you've also been in a team that is considered as an high performing team, you realize that one of the things that would have helped you at every point in time was that you guys were clear on what you were trying to achieve. When there's no clarity, there's no way a team can be high performing. That's the truth, if it's not clear. But at the same time, that clarity, that goal should not be just one person's vision. It should be collectively owned by everyone. And then also in terms of the skills and experiences, right? There must be diversity in skills and experiences. Those are the things that really helps the people. If you look at the story, the example again of the Formula One team, they have different expertise. There's somebody that fixes the tire, another person does this, another person does that, and everybody works together to ensure that that thing is done. There's not one superstar. High-performing team cannot be a one superstar or one showman person. Even as a leader, you can't be the superstar in that team. It cannot really be an high-performing team. And then the other thing is that there is also effective and open communication. This is one area I know that a lot of people shy away from. Sometimes people feel that, I cannot be as transparent as I should be. I believe as much as possible you should be transparent. I think you should also apply wisdom in being transparent, but at the same time, it is very important. If you have to lead a team that is very effective, you must ensure that the team communicates. And even as a member within the team, you must communicate with other team members. And as a leader also, you must ensure that you are also communicating and fostering that conversation within your team. Let me give an example of my own team. So something happened recently within my team, and one of my team members said, this person doesn't communicate it's within two members within my team. And one person came to report the other person to say, this person doesn't speak up, this person doesn't communicate, all those side gist, sometimes side gossip, right? What did I do? I called both of them and I said, you know what? Because I thought the other person was feeling that this person, I'm trying to work with this person, but this person doesn't really communicate, doesn't engage. As a leader, once I hear those kind of conversations, I just bring everybody into the room and we have an open conversation. I don't become a third party in the middle. No. We all come together, open conversations. You explain how you feel, the other person explains how he or she feels, and then we resolve it and address it at that point in time. And that was what I did. And 3 weeks down the line now, I'm watching and I'm observing, and I can see that the communication and the relationship between these two members have changed. Now I see them smiling more. Yesterday they were gisting, they were laughing and all of that. And I know that all of that came just because I was able to break the ice just with that meeting, bringing both of them together, because one person was feeling that the other party wasn't effective. So open communication is very important. And when you play a leadership role, that's one of the things you have to foster within your team. Next slide. Now, trust is also extremely important, mutual trust, because if you work with people and you don't trust them, now I will contextualize trust within the professional environment or within the context of where you are leading, right? Because trust doesn't mean you're sharing your personal life with other people. It just means that within the professional environment where you are, there is trust. Yes, I know some people might say, but what if I work in a toxic environment? How do I ensure, how can I trust people and all of that? I've also worked in a toxic environment, right? But what I know at the end of the day is that if you don't trust on the job, you cannot be effective. I once worked in a team where we're very, outside we're seen as high performing team, right? But we're very competitive amongst ourselves. And because we're very competitive, right? Sometimes we have issues with trust. But what I try to do is just to ensure that I keep open communication and I try as much as possible to be transparent with everybody. But we're very competitive. But I think it was also the style of the leadership at that point in time. The leader felt that if I keep make everybody compete with themselves, it will bring out the best, right? Whether it worked or not is a different conversation, right? Because some leaders always feel that I must keep my teams competitive. If they are not competitive, then they might become relaxed and all of that. But people have different leadership styles. So even if you find yourself in that kind of toxic environment, or if you are as a leader, I don't think that if your team is toxic, I think to like the extent it's because you allowed it as a leader, to be sincere. But if you as a team member find yourself in that kind of environment, what I would tell you is that as much as possible, continue to drive open communication and don't get involved in any gossip or any of that or such kind of conversations and all of that. Be as respectful as possible and be the one leading that change. Leadership is not about title, right? You might not be the leader in quote of that unit, but you might be the one leading the team. So that even if your leader is not driving that behavior, that kind of behavior that you think the team should have, begin to be the one to role model it. And trust me, people are watching, people are seeing. One day, people would, when they are speaking about you, or even the leader, when the leader wants to say something extra about you beyond your performance, those are the things that will count for you. So you don't get yourself worried that, okay, maybe it's just toxic, I cannot change this place. You can actually change it, no matter how toxic it is. You just lead by examples. Others might not be following, but continue to lead. But trust me, people are watching. And when there is time for them to speak up for you, those things will count. Because let me tell you, when it comes to promotion, sometimes it is not just the result that speaks up. It's those little things that will speak for you. And those kind of little things will speak up when you are not in the room. Because when we all go into calibration, right, and we're trying to fight for our team members to be promoted, it's not about numbers anymore. It's not about results because everybody is bringing their A stars into that meeting. So when it comes to results, it's there. But those things that we bring to the table that differentiate are those subtle things. And we are able to back it up with evidences to show that this person did this person did that, right? So what I would just encourage that even if you're working in a toxic environment where you think you can't really drive trust, you can't trust people, in your own way, be transparent, continue to communicate effectively, and I believe to a large extent that will speak for you. And then shared accountability, performing team. Now, what I make my team do when we co-create that shared vision, I also ensure that we all carry the accountability. We are also accountable to it. But as a leader, I have to role model it. So let me give an example. One of the things we said was that for our management updates, we are going to be doing certain. We are going to complete the tasks on Fridays. And in coming up with that, the team struggled a bit because they felt that it was too difficult. They don't have time, blah blah blah. And I said, you know what? I'm not even going to choose for you. You guys just tell me, how do you want us to make this thing work? Because we're not meeting up with timelines, and we need to correct that and change that perception. And they said, okay, we're going to do this on so and so day. On Fridays, we'll do this at so and so time, blah blah blah. I said, is that the goal? No problem. As soon as we agreed on that, I made them decide what it was going to be. Yes, sometimes as a leader, you have to make the decision. But I wanted them to have accountability. I wanted the accountability to be shared as a team. So we all agreed what we wanted to do. So going for what I just have to do as a leader, if we agree we're going to do this thing at 3 o'clock, there's no way I'm going to get to that platform by 3 that you won't have seen my update there. Because that's where leadership comes in, right? And then because it was a goal that was jointly agreed, I realized that my team members, even without chasing them, they are doing it. In fact, let me tell you the things I chase my team members on. They're the things that I really want them to do, that I have not made a shared responsibility. But once it becomes a shared responsibility, I don't have to chase anybody because I didn't impose it on them. They came up with the idea that this is what we should. I think I've started trying this in the last 6 months, and I've seen a different turnaround in how things are being delivered within the organization and within my team. Now I'm not chasing people on things anymore because I didn't come up with the vision alone. We came up with the vision ourselves, and everybody has a role to play, and everybody is now accountable for what they need to do at the end of the day. Next slide. Now, in building a high-performing team, there are a lot of challenges. I won't lie to you. It's not easy. In fact, I think more than ever before, I've come to realize that being a people's manager is more difficult than being a team member. Before, when I used to be a team member, I used to think, oh, leadership is very easy. We are not the one doing all the work. We are the ones doing all the work. And all you have to do as the leader is to go and report all our work and all of that. But trust me, being a people's leader and driving a high-performing team, is actually more difficult than being a team member. In fact, sometimes I'm like, can I just be a team member and not be a leader? And so there are different challenges that comes in it, right? The first one is around conflict management. There is no way, if you want to shy away from it, there will always be conflicts within your team. See, it's just like in a family. Is it possible for you to grow up in a family and you will not have issues with your siblings, your aunties? I've never seen that kind of family before, right? There will always be conflicts. So why do we think that there will be no conflict within a team when we work with a team? And that team might even be in your church, it might be in the mosque, it might be, wherever you find yourself in a committee. It doesn't have to be in the workplace alone. Conflict is part of the dynamics of a high-performing team. And it is okay. There's nothing wrong with it. And we should all be comfortable with it. The question is, how do you manage it? How do you use conflict as an advantage within your team? And the easiest thing to do is to address it. Once there is conflict, address it. Don't stay in the space of gossip. That is the worst place to be as a leader or as a team member. I know sometimes we enjoy those conversations. They are sweet, they are nice, and all of that. But once there is conflict, the first rule I always tell anybody is have a conversation with that person. In fact, before you escalate, have a conversation. Let me tell you, sometimes people are actually not aware that they've actually offended you. That's the truth. They are not actually not aware. Sometimes we rub off on people and people genuinely are not aware. And we are just assuming, calculating, interpreting, observing, and all of that. The first rule is, in a way you can. And sometimes maybe the person is your boss, you are scared of having that conversation. I think with wisdom, you can find a way of saying it. It might not address it directly, but you might look for a way to address it. But the first rule for me will always be, have a conversation with that person before you even escalate to the manager or HR. Now, if you've had a conversation with that person and you're not getting joy, then you can bring in your manager into it and have a conversation. Or maybe you want to bring in HR into it, or depending on where you find yourself. But the rule of conflict, you must always confront it, as in confront it not with violence, not in an aggressive way, but you must have conversations around it. Continuous learning is also very important, right? For you to have a high-performing team. I remember there was a time when I wanted to do a course at Harvard. And I think I'd already enrolled for that course. But I just told myself that, you know what, I think this course would be beneficial to all my team members. And I wanted them to. I made everybody, I sold the idea to them. I didn't impose it on them. And eventually everybody enrolled for that course. Now, because we are about 6 in that class, they ended up making us a cohort, a group on our own within the class. And the advantage we had was that our own real life situations at work, to bring it to Harvard, and we were dealing with it. So, and at the end of the year, one of those issues that we were trying to solve was one of the case studies we used in Harvard class. And then we were able to deliver on our objective for the business just because we went to school together. So continuous learning is very important, and don't make it your own. Let it not be for you alone. And in fact, let me tell you what that thing did for me. Because I brought in other people to go for that course, during appraisal, that spoke for me. I was rewarded really for it. It was a little task, a little initiative. It was not even a big deal to me, but it was recognized by the organization because I made every other person go to school. I was driving continuous learning within the team. In fact, at that point, I was not even a leader of that. I was not even the leader of that particular team. I was leading another team, right? But because I did that, it was counted for me during calibration beyond my results. So continuous learning is something that you cannot joke with as a leader, or even within your team. You have a role to play. You can also encourage your team members, because the more exposure your team gets, the more you are able to deliver effectively, right? And then adaptability is very important. This one is a very strong one, because especially when there is a lot of change going on in your organization, and there's a lot of change going on in a lot of organizations now. There's a lot of organizational reorganization, reorg here and there. What I would say is that when those kind of things happen, don't be one of those people that stay in the corridor for side gist. Embrace change, and encourage your teams also to embrace change. Because it's not just even about embracing change. Be part of that change and drive that change and make that change work for you. Especially in an organization where if you are not the CEO, You just have to embrace it. As long as you want to stay in that organization, embrace that change. Encourage other people to be part of it. It would go a long way for you. This is one of the favorite quotes I like about teamwork from John Maxwell, right? Where he said that success is not just is best when it is shared, right? And teamwork is the essence of achievements. Success is not about you just being a superstar, right? It's about everybody contributing to it and making it work. And this leads me to as I'm wrapping up, I wanted to just talk a little bit about the role of a leader in helping to build a high performing team. Adela, that's my next slide. As a leader, no, we can move on. Let's go on to the next one. As a leader, right, your role is extremely important in building a high performing team. And one of the things you have to do as a leader, sorry, please go back. No, I'm sorry. Adela, please go back. No, please go back. No, go back. One of the things you have to do, the first thing is encourage regular feedback. Yes, just on that slide that has regular feedback, right? Now, you need to encourage regular feedback within your team. It's very important. No, next slide, Adela. You need to ensure that from time to, in fact, sometimes one of the things I try to do when I start my management meeting with my team members is that I start with feedback. As I say, what is going on? Don't just always go with your own agenda. Always hear from your team members. It's very important. It might be subtle, but trust me, those are the things that motivate your team to want to work for you. Those are the things that will motivate them. Sometimes they don't even want to come to the office. But because you allow them to talk, when people feel that when you give them opportunity to express themselves, to give feedback, they have a stake in it. They think they are one of the owners of that business. And that is one of the things that motivates them beyond the salary you are paying them, right? They want to do that job. And they want to also work for you as a leader. I have a leader that I would work for any day, anytime, not because of the salary, but just because of how that leader makes me feel. And one of the ways of you making people feel good is about you listening to them, allowing them to give feedback, and always ensure that you drive a collaborative culture. And sometimes you might need tools to help you drive that. Let me give an example, and this one happens a lot in organizations. You see a team member working on a project, and then that project is only on their laptop. Then something happens, the team member is on leave, and nobody can work on that project anymore. One of the things I do as a leader is to encourage that we use collaborative tools. I always tell my teams, we have shared folders. Put all your documents on shared folder. At any point in time, any team member must be able to pick up that project, whether you are there or not. Even if I'm not there as a leader, when they ask questions, you must be able to access those things and be able to represent the department at any point in time. So collaborative tools always help. Open discussion, I already mentioned it, and then transparency at the end of the day. Even if your organization is toxic, you have a role to play, either as a leader or as a team member, to ensure that within your own team, yes, there might be toxicity, the environment itself might be toxic, right? But within your own team, how do you ensure that your own team remains sane? And is that toxic nature, you're not bringing it in within your own team. So even if you cannot fully role model the culture of the organization, you might have your own team culture. And such that other people loves that, they role model, they want to be, you become the role model within the organization. Next slide. Now, the other thing is that you need to also build trust, right? I always tell my team members that, see, I don't just care about you delivering on the job. I want to know you beyond the job. If you have anything personal, you can always come to talk to me. And it's very important that you always have those conversations with your team and remind them. And every time they come to you to talk to you, please keep their personal life to yourself. I think one of the things people would not love to hear is if they now hear maybe somebody mentioned something because you had said it somewhere. As a leader, confidentiality is very important. Whatever any team, for example, if a team member tells you, I'm thinking of leaving the organization, right? And you go into management meeting, you are not going to go and tell them that, because the person is going to feel bad. You might look for a way to use wisdom to have the conversation in management meeting to say, this person might be leaving, but you cannot open your mouth and say that this person is leaving because that person told you in trust. The person confided in you. So at every point in time as a leader, confidentiality is very important. To the organization, I agree, and to the individual. As far as not something that's detrimental to the growth of that organization, then you should try as much as possible to respect that person and honor that person for coming to confide in you. And try to build that culture with other team members also. And empathy is also very important as a leader, right? If you are not empathetic, there's no way you can get your team to be high performing. It's not possible. If it's all you do and all you ask them is, how is work? Where is this? Where is that? You're not even checking on, okay, your mom, how is your mom? Is she feeling better now? Somebody told you, my mom is not feeling better 2 weeks ago. Have you checked on the person? Just to even say, so what is going on? Oh, I'm not feeling fine today. Okay, so have you taken, as little as have you taken drugs? Those things, they go a long way. So it shouldn't just be about work, work, work. Try to get a little bit about them, know a little bit more about them beyond work. But sometimes also, some people don't want you to get into their personal space. I've also had that experience as a leader where somebody tells me, I'm not feeling fine. I'm going to see the doctor. I need to do a surgery. And then they just keep it there. And I also just leave it there. I don't come into that space. But in that instance, what I would then do is to let HR know that, oh, this person is not feeling fine, and is going to be taking time off. So that just in case something goes out of hand, at least you are covered as a leader. But if they don't want you to get into their personal space, then you also respect that and don't go too far. Next slide. So, as I wrap up, right, the things that are very important as a leader, you need to ensure that there's a vision, right, that your team is driving, you're empowering your team, and you ensure that your team, to a large extent, encourage them to be adaptable, especially when there's a lot of reorganization going on. You be the one to be leading it, modeling it, let them see it, and don't be the one complaining that, oh, they've changed this boss, they've changed that boss, oh, they are laying off. We don't even know what the plan of the organization is. You should be the one role modeling it to your team and encouraging them to embrace the change and to be part of the change and to also lead the change. I think that is all. Adela, they have to have one more slide. I think that's really it. Thank you.
Wow, Sean, thank you so much. Is Oma here? I'll just say a couple of things before I go. Sean, thank you so much. Let me take this. Sean, can you? Okay, excellent. You're there. Excellent. Thank you. Please, I want you to, I don't want to use the word embarrass, but I want you to, just shower our speaker with a lot of love in the chat. Thank you, Sean. God bless you. You've been amazing as usual. Amazing. Let me see. Yeah, amazing. Thank you for sharing. Thank you for sharing your heart. Thank you for speaking to us. And thank you for talking about high performing teams. I was listening with intent as you were talking, and now I know that I should care more, right? Someone, yeah, Oluwakemi Olafuyi says, thank you for sharing. And Oma says, wow, excellent, exactly, wow. Thank you for sharing. So we have a private chat and then we have a group chat, a chat coming from YouTube, Instagram, and everywhere else. And so open conversation is key. This is what people are getting in the conversation. Now, somebody's asking a question. I think this is for you. She said, if per your experience, you highly perform and stand out as the superstar, what do you do to neutralize for others to shine so that your performance will not overshadow theirs as a team leader? This is coming from attendees. This is CPL developers, the Gardens Estate. So Sean, please help us. What do you do so that you don't outshine others?
I think that's a very good question, to be sincere. And I think it's a juggling act for every leader, right? And it's something that happens, especially if I'll give a good example of myself, which is something I try as much as possible to be conscious of it, right? If your leader is a very high performing leader, very knowledgeable, sometimes it might come across as a bit intimidating. So as a leader, you need to be self-aware. That's the first thing. You need to be self-aware. So we are not all perfect, but I think the starting point is that you need to be self-aware as a leader. That because you're knowledgeable, you're out there, it might be a bit intimidating. So you need to be self-aware. And in ways you can manage it with your team members, you need to manage it. How do I manage it? I empower my team members. So there are some meetings I would not speak at. Like when we do our typical stand-up meetings, I try as much as possible not to even speak and let my team members speak so that they are the ones that, this is my own subtle way of showing them to everybody, right? Because they might not have opportunity to be in meetings where they'll be able to present to everyone. I will be in several other meetings where I can present, right? But they might not be. So I allow them to be the one to present. So as a leader, one of the things you have to be self-aware. The second thing will be that give opportunity for your team members to shine. That's very important. The other thing will be that when they do outstanding work, try to call it out. let people call it out, let people know that, and then appreciate them, recognize them. Recognition is very important for everyone. Appreciate them, recognize them, and when they've done something outstanding, let people know that, oh, this person, well done, thank you for that. Or even be as little as you're in a meeting, somebody asks a question like, oh, that's a good point, valid point. In a school, you are revalidating that person in front of everybody, so you don't have to wait for the big moments, right? Because sometimes as leaders, most of the time when we do those things are during appraisals, when we're trying to defend and fight for those kind of people, and they are not even there. So they don't even know you're defending and fighting for them, right? So it's in the everyday activity that you try to revalidate them, acknowledge them, I think that's how I have been able to manage it. And then empower your team constantly. And what I've realized that because you are at that level, you are sharing on that person's question where you are knowledgeable and all that, your team members will always want to default to you all the time. What do you think? What do you think? You're like, no, what do you think? Tell me, how do you think you can manage it? You're empowered. Make that decision. I don't have to be. Sometimes I don't attend some meetings with my team members just because of that. So that people that I'm not in charge, I'm not involved, be in charge. And sometimes even when I attend the meeting, just because I know they want me to be there, I would not say a word. I'll just keep quiet. Even if there is decision to be made, I'll say, no, this person, please, what do you think? But those are the ways I have been able to manage it from my own personal experience.
Right. Thank you so much. My team members are listening. You said I should not say a word. Oma, please take notes. She said I shouldn't say. Oma, are you there? So thank you so much. I personally learned a lot because I want Oma is protesting. Oma, we can't hear you. You're muted. Just stay muted. Oma, please, I want you.
Not at the conference. She didn't say you couldn't speak at the conference. Please speak on.
Right? So Sean, thank you so much. You said sometimes you go for a meeting, you won't say a word because you want to empower them. You want to literally give them the opportunity to also grow and shine. And so I'm going to do exactly what you've said this afternoon. And before I jump into it, I want to say thank you. I want to say thank you for preparing. You put in the work, you prepared, you created the slides, you pushed back activities, you made time, you made yourself available at this time, even though I know you had a lot to do. Can you hear me? Okay.
Yes, I can. I can hear you.
Okay. I just want to say thank you so much, Sean. We're very grateful. We're super grateful. We honor you. And like I said, every speaker that came here today is a big fish. They're all amazing women, top leaders in their industry, doing amazing. Just came to spend some time with us this afternoon on International Women's Day in 2025. We can never get this day back again, but you did. We are super grateful and we want to say thank you. Thank you so much. And somebody said something in chat. She said, Oladayo Bode Balogun says, thank you. I really like how you led your team members to take a course at Harvard together. So good. Amazing. My team members are listening. Guys, let's work hard so we can go to Harvard together. Right? There's nothing going right? So Sean, thank you so much. Do you have any words? Do you have any words for us as we close? Any parting words?
I would just say that still International Women's Day once again, and basically we should just try to be the best we can be with ourselves this year. Don't go all out for it. Dare to be different. Go for your dream. Don't let anything hold you down. Sometimes as women, we just try to hold back. But you see men, they are out there fulfilling their dreams, going for it and all of that. This year, don't even allow yourself to hold you back. Sometimes it's not even a money problem. A lot of times, maybe somebody wants to go for a course. Say, Harvard, $50,000, when will I get it? It's just a seed in your mind. If you go for it somehow, once you put yourself out there, you start achieving the goals. And it might even be your career goal, right? Whatever you want to do this year, just tell yourself that nothing is going to stop me, and I will not stop myself. Once you are clear, just set your face, focus on it, and pursue it with all your heart. Sometimes you might have to sacrifice. Sometimes you might have to give up a lot of things to get your goals, but it's worth it at the end of the day when you achieve it. So go for it. You can do it. Let nothing stop you. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Let's show up. Let's say thank you. I've been really inspired. People are thanking you in chat. Thanks and give you. God bless you. I shall have a beautiful day And happy International Women's Day from all of us at the Now You See Me conference. Thank you.
Thank
All right,
you.
so that was Shion, and I'm going to do exactly what Shion has asked us to do. Uh, she has done amazingly well. She's led us on this journey and taught us about high performing teams. So, Oma, our queen of the north, as I fondly like to call her, I'm going to be empowering Oma. She'll said I shouldn't talk, I shouldn't say anything. So I'm going to be empowering Oma to handle this with our special guest. First of all, I want to say something about our special guest before I hand her over to Oma, who is going to now take the interview. And this is 105 for about the next 15 minutes, right? And I want to say that our guest is indeed, I think I added the, yeah. Our next special guest is indeed another mighty, powerful woman in the legal industry. And we're going to be asking her some questions centered around and we're going to be rounding up with this session. After we're done with this session, then we're going to wind down and we'll come to an end. So I'm empowering Oma now, as Sheil has rightfully advised, to handle this. Would Oma, you would read her profile? You do have that? Yes. Excellent. So I will keep quiet. I will not say anything, and I'll hand over to you. Oma, over to you now. Thank you.
Okay, but then you'll be back for the question and answer session with her. Thank you, Coach Adeola. So our next guest will not be giving a speech per se, but will be handling the questions and answer session. And Oluwakemi Olafuyi is a multi-skilled lawyer specializing in dispute resolution, commercial law, contract management, and boardroom management. She has an LLB from the University of Ibadan, LLM from University of New South Wales, Sydney, Australia. She's an active member of the Nigerian Bar Association. She is a member of the Oyo State Multi-Door Courthouse, Ibadan, Nigeria. She's also a member of the Nigerian Institute of Chartered Arbitrators and a member of the Institute of Chartered Secretaries and Administration. So when we say she's a multi-skilled lawyer, you know we mean what we say. You're welcome, Oluwakemi Olafuyi.
Hello, everyone. Thank you for having me. Thank you, Adiola, for inviting me. And I've learned so much from this session. I've stayed here attentively listening to all the speakers. And I want to thank all the speakers for everything that they've shared this afternoon. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much for joining. And I saw that you joined really early and you've been listening in just like you said. You are amazing. Thank you for your time. God bless you. Now, Oma, I really did mean that. The speaker said we should empower. So I'm really empowering you. So all the best. So she will handle it. I'm right here. Thank you.
Okay, so it would be nice to see your face though.
I believe my face is on the screen. I can see myself.
Yes, I can see
Diola
her
now.
Yes, I can see her too.
Yeah,
She's
so it
showing.
must be a network glitch. But you can hear my voice, can't you?
Yes, we can.
Okay. Yes, I can hear your voice, but I can't see you
We
from
can
here.
see her
Maybe we
from
should
here.
continue and then my face will pop up on your screen shortly as we progress.
Okay.
Okay, I think it definitely has to be a problem with her network. Okay, so I'll start the interview, and then when she's back, she'll take over from us. I think that'd be great, so that we don't stay the whole day, because you really stayed a long time today. Thank you so much. All right, so it's a pleasure having you, and you've listened to the conversations we've had today around leadership and vision and action, what are your main takeaways? Is there anything you want to add based on what you heard, or was there something that you thought, okay, I'd like to add to this? This was insightful, and I think I can, add one or two things. Is there something you'd like to add?
Yes, so there's so many things that were insightful. I think what stood out for me the most is that courage will kill your fear. That really resonated with me. And also, as in collectively, what I heard all the speakers say is that um, there should be a strategy for your goals. You need to plan, as in have a clear vision of where you're going to. But what I want to add is that when you have been able to achieve those goals, so for example, as in I want to go and study at Harvard, as in I'm able to articulate that, okay, how can I achieve that? Do I get funding? Do I push myself out there through, do I ask for my management to help me with the finances? There are different ways in which I can get there. But when I get there, when I achieve those goals, what next? So a lot of people are just looking at the goals, but there's a second level. When you do achieve those goals, you also have to have at the back of your mind that what do I want to do with that particular goal? So I might go to Harvard, you understand, and get that degree from Harvard and never utilize it. If it is just my goal that, okay, yes, I want to have, I've spoken with many ladies that went for very expensive LLMs and they never utilized it again. Maybe they utilized it a bit at work, but did they really properly utilize it? As in vis-a-vis the amount of time and energy that went into achieving those goals. I think it's another part. I think it's an important part of the process that we actually start to visualize also that, okay, I am going to use this goal, you understand, to scale up my business. I'm going to use this training that I've been able to achieve to scale up my business. I am going to use it to increase my streams of income. It's not just going to be something that, oh, that's just a tick off the list of achievements. Okay, I've been able to achieve this goal, but what do you do with it afterwards? I think it's an important thing that we need to consider as well.
That's good. That's good. Thank you so much for sharing that. So I'm going to jump into questions. I see that Oma, I see that you're coming in and now, but I hope that it'll be, I hope you'll be stable soon. So I'm going to ask you. I see that our time is fast spent, so I'm going to try to keep it short. So I'll probably keep it around three. Or if you have any other questions in chat, for those of you who are watching and listening, please type your answers in chat, your questions in chat, and then we'll take them further. So I have a question for you, and that is around resilience in leadership. Resilience in leadership. So, what are the key traits of resilient leaders that you have noticed over the years? Yeah, you've worked with different people, you've seen different leaders, you've had the opportunity to work and interact with a lot of people. What is one resilient trait? So, what is one key traits in resilient leaders that you have seen over the years, and how can we cultivate this resilience in our organizations, or maybe even in ourselves? So, I guess that's two questions in one. So, maybe I should take the
Yes.
first one here.
Yes, I think one of the most, the organization that I work for has been in existence now for over a decade. And I know that we've gone through a lot of, COVID was really harsh on us. And then recently as well, we've had a high attrition rate of employees. And one thing that I admire about my managing partner is that he's always has a sense of calm. He doesn't flake off when there's a crisis. That is one. So that is one trait, as in he's always centered in who he is, the vision for the firm. That no matter what is going on around us and everything, as in it's actually what pushes us through those tough times.
That's so
As
good.
in there are things going on, as in he's centered in the vision. Another thing is grit. It takes a lot of grit to be able to work in this current economy. And I see people that even in these harsh times, people are still building, people are still doing things. As in, I'm currently part of a team that have just set up a research center, and it's like a world-class research center, and I was right there from right the beginning. So they had the vision, they made it plain, and the funding wasn't there. But because they knew where they were going to, they had a clear vision of what they wanted. Right now, we're at the final stages of completing the research center. And they've sunk in billions into it. So it's not as if they had billions in the bank at the beginning of this project. But because they knew where they were going to, it was as if it just attracted everything that they needed. Because they said that, you understand, we can do it. We have seen this, we have envisioned it, we're going to get there, and they're here. It's amazing to see the grit. So when challenges came up, when the project was almost shut down due to, regulations and then issues with management and everything, it didn't stop the team. The project wasn't abandoned. One of the buildings was actually even struck off as they said that, oh, it was structurally insecure. And then the following week, a drunk driver ran into one of the buildings as well. So basically, they had to rebuild.
Wow.
But the team just continued. They looked into it that, okay, so what can we do? How do we resolve this? And they just continued pushing on.
Let's continue pushing. Wow.
Yes. So I'm really proud to be a part of this project. And then it just all the leaders that I've worked with, I see that particular that's one thing, that's a trait that I admire about them: grit, resilience,
I love
to
it.
be able to push through those difficult times. And I see that they stay focused. And just to round it, I was thinking about it this morning that, at the time when because I'm a Christian and everything for me is centered around Christ, I was just remembering when Jesus was faced with one of his greatest crises. His cousin John the Baptist had just been beheaded. The crowds they wanted a political leader. But what did he do? He went, secluded himself, and then came back again, and he continued with what was his mission. He was not deterred by the fact that even his cousin was offended by the fact that he did not do anything to save him. And I'm sure that was very painful for Jesus. But he told the people that John the Baptist sent to him that, are the blind being healed? All the things that I am supposed to demonstrate as a Messiah, do you see me doing them? As long as I'm doing them, I'm going to stay on the path of my vision. And nothing is going to deter me. And I was like, wow, that must have been very difficult. But it's because he knew what his vision was, what his mission was. And there was nothing that was going to steer him away from it. So thank you very much.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. I love what you said, calm and grit. So what you've noticed in resilient leaders, they are calm and they have grit. I think those are powerful, powerful traits, and I totally agree. And so I'm going to hand you over to Oma to ask you the last question for the day.
Okay.
Right. So Oma, are you there? I can see you. Is she frozen again? Wow. Oma is frozen again. Oma has resilience. She has resilience. Yes. And I have calm. So we're sharing this thing. She's really, really trying to change all her networks. So I'll just take the question. I'll take the question anyway. Okay. All right. So to the next question I had for you as you were talking, I had a question about practical decision making. Practical decision making. Now, when I talk about practical decision making, let me just break it down a little bit so that I can we can really have some more context. So you know how sometimes you are caught in between the devil and the deep blue sea, and you're a lawyer and you understand this a lot. How yes, you want to do something, you want to do right, but you're caught, trying not to. So, for example, let me use a very practical example. You want to do the right thing, and you want to work with a company, but the company is telling you you have to cut corners, right? You want the project and you want to do the right thing, but you're just caught into in between. So I just use this as an example. But when it comes to practical decision making, how would you say that there is a structure to follow or a system to follow to help people make practical decisions? Because on the journey of going from vision to action, decisions have to be made. If
Yes.
you don't make decisions, you can't get to action. One of the decisions that we made this morning, you chose to wear this beautiful, I don't know if it's Adira or Ankara, but you chose to wear it. And I saw that you
Yes.
had a very nice ring with you, and you chose to wear that. You made a decision, right? You made a decision to show up today despite whatever was happening, right? So, what are some strategies or systems or steps or whatever you can share with us to help people make practical decisions? I'm tempted to start to have the conversation around our values, but I'll just let you do the talking because I know that you're the expert here. So please go ahead.
Okay. So I know that a lot has been said around that this morning, so I won't bore you with that, as in about being strategic, as in writing everything out, as in being clear on where you're going to. But one thing I'm going to talk about is that I know that it really impacts decision making, especially in the area in which I practice in a lot. That is alternative dispute resolution. So you have to help people make decisions, usually as in a timely manner during mediations and things like that. What I would advise, one strategy that I always advise is that take the emotions out of it.
Mm, 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 mm,
If you think that, okay, maybe pause, give yourself maybe 15 minutes just to regather yourself and recompose yourself. As once you take the emotions out of it and you start to look at it from a logical perspective, you will be able to make the best decision. You understand? So
yeah.
usually, okay, I could get offended that from the example that you raised, I could get offended that, okay, why would this company ask me to do something um that doesn't
Shady.
fall in line with my values? You
Mm-hmm,
understand? But and I would come across as offensive,
mm-hmm,
as offended,
mm-hmm,
and I might actually damage my relationship with that particular organization.
mm-hmm.
But I've seen people do that all the time. Once they take the emotions out of it, you can make a statement to that effect that my personal values do not align with what you're asking me to do. Or actually even highlight that also comes up in the boardroom when you highlight that at the end of the day,
Mm,
this is actually going to make us lose more money
mm,
by trying to cut corners.
mm,
We can still make money, good money, and do the
mm,
right thing. There are
mm,
better and more efficient ways to do this.
mm,
So at the end of the day, you won them over. And you've also taught them that as in cutting corners is not always the way to go,
mhm,
especially when you're in the business place
mhm.
where you can't maybe share your values, your personal values with them. At
Yeah,
least you are teaching them those principles, but in a way that it is logical and you're not trying to push whatever faith you have on them.
yeah.
But you have to be able to take the emotions out of it to not
Mm,
come across as logical
mm.
and clear. So I think
Excellent.
that's one of the key things here.
Excellent. Thank you so much. Now I'm tempted to ask you one more question because you gave me a bullet, you gave me something so powerful there. So I have another one for you. So can you share an example of a time where a major challenge turned to a growth opportunity for either you or your organization? So basically, something bad happened, but it turned out to yield something good, either for you as a person, or for you as, or for the organization that you worked with. So, do you want me to give you more examples, or you already have something you want to share with us?
I think I have a few instances, as
Excellent.
in, okay, so I think the first major personal challenge that I had was having to move to another jurisdiction. And I had to just continue on my path as a legal practitioner. But you know that there are different rules in different jurisdictions, and you would need to now apply for a license in another jurisdiction and that. And that was one of the most challenging things that I had to do because at that stage in my life, I was a single mom of 4 kids.
Wow.
And there I was trying to apply for a legal license in a different jurisdiction that practically did not take cognizance of my earlier legal training.
Mm.
Yes.
Wow.
But because it was something that I was clear about what I wanted to do, I knew that if I didn't want to change careers,
Yeah.
and I knew that as in it was just it was, I took it as a challenge, and I didn't see it as something that was insurmountable.
Yeah.
So I realized that I had to do it part-time, which I did. And to God be the glory, as in I was able to do that at the end of the day with the help of God, strictly by
Excellent.
the help of God.
I love it. I love it. So initially had to move into a new jurisdiction, right? And you had children to worry about. It was just you, and it was a
Yes,
struggle at the beginning, but you were eventually able to do it by the help of God.
yes,
You did
yes.
it. You surmounted that challenge. We're super proud of you. Thank you, thank you, thank you. See, I have more questions.
But I think I've been keeping the audience as we've
Yes,
been on since 10
exactly,
o'clock. So I think it
exactly,
will only be fair
exactly.
to finish up
So
at this
thank you
junction.
so much. Yes, thank you so much. I'm trying. Yeah, I was trying to say that I have more questions to ask you, but because we've been here and you have been here since morning as well, right? And everyone listening has been here as well. Thank you so much for joining us. Thank you for sharing. Thank you for listening. Thank you for showing up at such short notice. Such short notice.
Thank you for having me, Adiola. I
Yes.
truly enjoyed the experience.
Same here. All right. So thank you and happy International Women's Day to you. We appreciate your presence. We appreciate you answering our questions, coming for this special Q&A session. And we hope that you have a wonderful week and month ahead. All right. So talk to you soon. Thank you.
Thank you. Wish you the same. Thank you so much.
Thank you. All right, so she has been amazing. We had our amazing guests. Our final guest for the conference has spoken to us. And we have come to the end. Oma, I still can't see you. I think she's trying to come back. Okay, I can see her. But Oma, if you can come back, that'd be great so that we can round up. But for everyone who has joined us from 10 a.m., you joined at 11, whenever you joined, I want to say thank you. My team and I at the Now You See Me conference, powered by the Present Rights Academy, we want to say thank you for joining us. Thank you for being part of this conference. And to all our speakers, I want to say thank you for honoring us with your depth of knowledge and wisdom. And to my team members, RA, OD, OMA, Olamide, who have worked tirelessly to make this conference a success, I want to say a big thank you. And finally, to God Almighty, who without breath in our lungs, who gave us this breath in our lungs, wouldn't even be able to do anything at all. We want to say thank you, God Almighty, for making this an amazing success. And so we are officially bringing the conference to a close. We want to say thank you, and I'll allow Oma, you're back. Okay, excellent. So we're bringing the conference to a close. I say thank you. I was thanking you and other team members for such hard work that you guys have done. And I wanted to say thank you to all of you. Thank you, Oma. Thank you, Ari. Thank you to Olamide. And I thanked our speakers. God bless you, Oluwashim Adaramola. Oluwakemi Olufiayo. Thank you, Ifoma Endikalu. Thank you, Nana Hawa Indipaya. And thank you. Who haven't I thanked? Have I gone round? Yes. Thank you. And to everyone who participated, and those who listened, who commented, both on YouTube and on LinkedIn, I want to say thank you. On behalf of my team and I, from the Now You See Me conference, powered by the President Academy, thank you. And for those of you who are going to watch the replay later, thank you in advance. Do you have any questions for our viewers?
Thank you. Take your vision from just being a vision to action. Lead with impact.
Excellent. That is Omar talking, the head of PM. Okay. Yes, thank you all so much. All right, guys, you've heard it from us. It's a wrap, and we are happy, happy, happy to have had you on. Thank you once again, and goodbye.
Goodbye.
Bye.
Thank you.